Welcome, Ultras and Danonites alike, to episode 59 of the weekly episodic gaming adjacent live stream podcast show. This is, I guess, a very special installment of Dan 2 Ultra on Tuesdays for who knows how long. And listen, it's been 2 weeks since we last gathered. We have each watched a number of shows, finales, shows premieres, movies in theaters, and the release of the newest Nintendo game, the Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive game that's been getting high reviews in Splatoon Raiders. But quite honestly, both of us are technically on tornado watch right now. I sort of have pseudo-planned the rest of the segments we normally do. I could hear it outside. I could see it coming down sideways, that classic sideways rain. So there is a very good chance that this stream could just abruptly end at any moment. And if that happens, assume that our power went out. One of our powers went out, and we just will. That'll just be the end of the show. It'll come abruptly to that. I'm your co-parent, BH Ultra.
And I'm your temporary co-parent / Funkle Dan.
The father who stepped up. I'm in earbuds right now. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's just like a karmic situation, a terrible conundrum, them lining up perfectly. But I have my big dumb head has broken 2 pairs of headphones this year. I have to be fair,
God.
One of them are like my Beats headphones that I got in like high school Christmas around that time, and I just like wore the hell out of them. They're the ones that just had so much gunk on the sides. You know how like those, it's not leather, but whatever like gaming chairs and like headphones are made out of, it starts to fray a little bit and like get gunky. Like I don't like to get rid of things until I'm legitimately just gonna run the wheels off of things. I'm not done riding something until the wheels fall off. Those just, you know, the ear part of the earphone started to get frayed, and the same thing happened last night. For those of you that joined me last night, it was my 1000th stream. Finally committing to 100% finishing the save of Super Mario Sunshine that I started all the way back in 2020 when the 3D All-Stars collection came out. And I would like to make a formal statement here on Switch 2 Ultra. I have changed my mind since my sequelitis video that I uploaded earlier this year. Mario Sunshine is way worse than I had said and way worse than I remember. Because, like, I mean, the argument always boils down to, like, okay, well, it's one of the most annoying and egregious things to 100%. And the argument is like, okay, but that's optional. Like, you don't have to 100% something. And while that is true, that same logic could be applied to anything. Like, yeah, playing the video game is also optional. I'm not factoring it in because it's like, oh, I need to 100% this, but that's more of the game. You want to play more of the game. And there's some stuff in it that's just like, okay, clearly this game was rushed out. And there's other stuff that feels personally designed just to like piss me off. Because to be fair, there's a lot of 3D Mario games that have really difficult final sections that are really difficult to 100%. But they're not frustrating as much. Like, they are difficult.
Okay, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. The blue coin thing?
Yeah. Well, the blue coin, and then, like, one of the... Because there's little things that everyone hypes up, because Corona Mountain blue coins wasn't that bad. The Chuckster one, once I figured out that I could just, like, jump past all of it, wasn't that bad. But the bit where you can't pick up the Dorians and you have to, like, kick them across Delfino Plaza, like, just little stuff like that just really annoying. Anyway,
that one sucks. I hate that one. I still think my least favorite, like, Mario level of all time is the lily pad level. I hate that level with the burning passion.
Dan, that was the last thing I had to do. I was 100% in the game, and I'm like, I'm missing a shine. Where is it? Because I just got one of those 24-hour, like those subathon joints. But I also am a freak who archives all of my streams. I like to categorize them and count them individually. So the big deal, the ceremony of that stream was that it was the 1000th stream since I started and went live on the first time on that Twitch channel, on this Twitch channel that we're currently on. And YouTube, where I'm archiving the streams, has an upload limit. Every time I say this, people bring up Quentin. I don't know if Quentin has publicized how he did it. I know it's like a compression algorithm to get a video past 12 hours. But if you're a normal person, you're trying to upload a video past 12 hours on YouTube, it does not allow you to do so. And the same applies to stream VODs. If you stream longer than 12 hours, it'll just cut it. So I knew that I was like, oh, I can go all night, but I only have these 12 hours to like actually do the stream. And then I just went live. So what I did was I ended the stream and then immediately went live with stream 1001 a couple minutes later just to get the final blue coins and the final shines, and that only took like an additional hour. All of that to say, now I'm up on the counts, and this is currently stream number 1002. Sort of like a soft reboot. We're restarting everything. I'm gonna snap my fingers and reset the universe, and it's all from scratch. But outside of that, prior to the Tomodachi, prior to the Mario Sunshine, prior to the festivities, I did have the opportunity on Thursday, I believe, to stream Splatoon Raiders. Only for those 3 hours. I haven't really been able to play it since, but I have been seeing insane review scores for this game since then. Dan, have you had the opportunity to play any of Splatoon Raiders?
No, you know what? I never even got a chance to play Splatoon 3, so I thought to myself, I'm probably gonna skip Splatoon Raiders for now, just because I don't think I saw a single trailer for it. Not because they weren't playing trailers, I never saw one.
Yeah.
And then, like, I just don't even know, like, what Splatoon Raiders is supposed to be, per se. So I never really got into it.
Right.
I'm probably still not going to, like, get into it, like, fully until a little later, just because I was never, like, the biggest Splatoon head. But I'm glad people are liking it. I'm glad people are really having a fun time with it. That's good.
I mean, that was my take, is I was playing it. To be fair, I only did a 3-hour stream, and every modern game has hours of tutorial that you need to get through, and you know, I don't want to be that person that's constantly skipping tutorials and then I'm like, oh, how do I do this thing? But I feel like for the most part you can figure it out in the game, so it kind of slowed it there at the beginning. And I guess it's the same thing, that I have no qualms with Splatoon. It's just like not one of my favorites. I'm not as into it. I think that it's really interesting that it has risen the ranks, because you know, there's a weird in-between point, or maybe like a time dilution in your 20s, where this is your first time being an adult, so it doesn't really feel like an amount of time that basically to you all time is linear, and any time that doesn't feel like a long time is objective and not subjective. When you get a little older, you're like, oh no, I guess stuff has just been moving fast the entire time. But like Splatoon, it started in 2015, and we're a good decade into the series, and it's got now 4 games under its belt. And I think it's really interesting that this is it. All it took for Splatoon to get really high reviews was just to be like a single player focused game. Granted, it does have a little bit of like the squad raids. Honestly, upon playing it, it controls exactly like Splatoon, but mechanically, I think it's the closest comparison I have is to something like Monster Hunter, where you can get people together to do specific raids, especially because there's large boss fights and large swaths of enemies.
Oh, that's why it's called Raiders. Okay.
Yeah, so like I think maybe that's why the marketing is a little confused, because it is a multiplayer game, but not the same kind of multiplayer, and you don't want to cross those wires too much. I did, however, without anyone knowing, if I wanted to be a true journalist, on the ground correspondence, I was in New York over the weekend with my 2019 camera that I started on this channel, and I went into the Nintendo store just to see what Splatoon Raiders stuff. I guess we don't need the audio for this. To see what Splatoon Raiders stuff they had set up there. Let's see what else we got. Just a bunch of couple 5-second clips. Is it over here too? Maybe. Yeah. All the Splatoon stuff we had set up. It's not a whole lot. I mean, it was a little corner. I was there visiting my friend and YouTuber Evasive, and she said that like a week prior it was all Star Fox stuff, and now it's immediately moved on to Splatoon Raiders. If we're giving, this is footage of me trying to target my camera and me meeting Big Man himself. So yeah, I think the characters that you interact with in the Splatoon Raiders game are the 3 from Splatoon 3 specifically, those characters. And I think that, although I never really got into it, that I find Splatoon from a fandom standpoint really interesting, because it overlaps all of these things to the point where like it was almost designed in a lab to be palatable to a certain group of people. That it has the fashion aspect, right? The customization aspect of your character. It is a shooter game, despite, it is a turf style third person shooter, but a shooter nevertheless, which has its own group of players that like grind it out competitively, and it is very opinionated because of the decisions via the Splatfest. But also within the game, every game, Splatoon 1, 2, 3, they have a pair of ostensibly idle characters who have like in-game concerts. And I did one for, I think it was Splatoon 2, because they were shutting it down, I think last year. So me and a patron attended one of the Splatoon idols concerts, and they give you like little glow sticks to wave around, so it overlaps with that sense of community, because basically every named character with dialogue in these games is like Hatsune Miku. Like, they all have music in universe that is complete gibberish to everyone else, but it had like that little bit of world building. I know that it has like a post-apocalyptic lore thing, but I imagine that's not as, it's more of the undercurrent, to be fair. But I'm honestly surprised at how much good stuff I heard. I have to take another crack at it. But I do also like, I don't know if you remember, but when the Nintendo Switch, the first one, came out, it seemed like a lot of the games early on had the same pick up and play philosophy because it was a handheld console. Like the Mario Moons in Odyssey, they would either be a really difficult level or like a really important level to the story, or it's just like a little thing that you can knock out in a couple minutes. And the same sort of applies to the Breath of the Wild shrines. And this second year of the Switch 2 kind of feels like that. Looking on the games that have come out, year 2, which is like June 5th onward, I kind of want to do streams where I just play all of them at the same time, or at least within the same stream. Because I think if I do a stream where I'm like, oh, I'll just pick up Splatoon Raiders, do a raid. I'll pick up Rhythm Heaven and do a level real quick. I'll pick up Star Fox and do one of these missions. They seem a lot more, I hazard to like compare them to mobile games, but more of that pick up and play ability where it's veering more in that direction. And outside of that,
I could see that, but I also kind of think that, like, I don't know how to put this. I kind of think we need to have a better mix of those games now, because we're now on the Switch 2, which is now almost 10 years from the launch of the Switch 1. And at that point, it's like,
nuts. Yeah.
I think you have to, like, we kind of have to, like, get a little more games that have more meat on them, you know? There's gotta be a little more meat to them.
Yeah, it's weird that, like, this one has a really high rating because it's now, like, Metacritic is Metacritic. It's whatever you feel about it, however you feel about any review platform. But now it's like being rated higher than Bonanza. And I guess maybe not rose-tinted glasses, but your perspective changes a little bit. That I remember prior to the holiday season that it kind of felt like the first year was a little lackluster. And then towards the tail end with Metroid Prime and ZA Switch 2 Edition and Air Riders, they really filled it out. And I, maybe naively, was under the impression after that June Direct that we have seen everything that we're going to see this year, that they were all shown there. Hopefully we see actual gameplay about Ocarina of Time in the future. But I was under the impression that the 5 or 6 year 2 games that we are familiar with, that's all we're going to get. But if those Metroid leaks are anything to go off of or anything to believe, then it's possible. I mean, I always believed we would get a September Direct anyway, because we get a September Direct every year. And now as we this is the final Switch 2 Ultra of July, I believe. As we get through August, we get closer and closer to that date. But I don't know what I would be expecting. But right now, early on, year 2 feels lackluster. But to be fair, technically we're only like 2 months into year 2, so they could really impress us. I would be really surprised if that happened, though. Ultimately, off of everything I've heard or seen, I like the idea of Star Fox coming back. Like, I think that's an exciting concept. But the thing that I want to play the most that has excited me is the prospect of a 2D Metroid.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. But I also think Dread is such a good game.
Yeah.
Like, it might be the best Metroid game.
I would argue that.
Like, I'm like well satiated at this point. Not that I'm saying I don't want another one.
Right.
But like, I'm also saying, like, it doesn't even have to be the greatest Metroid game of all time because of how great Metroid Dread is. Like, if there's one like gimmick to it that people don't like, that's fine with me. Like, I just think Star Fox was not in that position because people were hating on Zero for years and years.
Yeah.
And I think we are kind of sort of seeing a Zero renaissance. I like Zero. I know some people like Zero. I know a lot of people don't like Zero.
I like the Five Nights at
but,
Freddy's game that comes packaged with it.
Yes, I like that too. I like how it's cream-colored box, so it looks terrible on a shelf. I no, but like honestly, I think I think Star Fox definitely needed it to be a home run.
Mm-hmm.
And God, I wish I knew what the sales numbers were by this point for Star Fox.
Right.
Like, damn, I'm a little annoyed that because I was so worried that this was going to be the case, and now that I think Miyamoto confirmed it, I'm really kind of frustrated because this is a game company. Games should be the
interview rather where Miyamoto confirmed that the resurgence, the green lighting of a new Yoshi game and a new Star Fox game came after the Mario Galaxy movie's development, and they added those characters, or rather they I don't know what the implication is, that like they started development on the games, or they fast-tracked them because of that. And that is particularly interesting in context of the Galaxy movie, because that makes sense for Bonanza for the first movie, right? Because that's where Donkey Kong gets his first redesign. That's where he is a main character of it. But that one, I'm not to say that Nintendo wasn't very hands-on with the second movie, the Mario Galaxy movie, but that one, all the stories we heard about it were how litigious. Like, Miyamoto was breathing down everyone's neck, and they... You know, the Paper Mario story you always hear, that like, oh, a Goomba can't wear a hat because we're very protective of these characters. You know, they were very hands-on. So the inclusion of Donkey Kong in that and the importance of Donkey Kong in that makes sense because of how close that was developed. But the idea that Star Fox and Yoshi got games because of their appearance in the Mario Galaxy movie is silly, because it was an Illumination decision to put Star Fox in that movie. Like, obviously Yoshi was always the plan. That was the post-credit scene of the previous one. So what was the plan with Star Fox? Nothing? Did whoever worked on the movie in Illumination came to Nintendo and said, hey, we want Star Fox in this movie because Glenn Powell keeps requesting it, and they just said sure, and they're like, oh, we should probably make a Star Fox movie? Because I think the most specific example of this is Princess Peach's Showtime, because that game, it doesn't...
with the box art?
Yeah, well, also, like, just the game itself, it doesn't feel unfinished per se, but it doesn't feel fully baked. Like, it does
feels
seem like
half-baked. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, like they needed a Peach game. And no, you're right. Like, when we first saw the box art of it, it was the traditional, the Mario Peach. But then, I think like a month or so before it actually came out, the box art was changed to be modeled after the Anya Taylor-Joy Peach, which she doesn't even look like in the game, which is interesting.
It's frustrating because it's a double-edged sword where it's like, I don't want this to be the case where the movies dictate what games are being made, but at the same time, who's to say if those games would ever be made if the movies didn't dictate them?
Yeah, this is what we talked about previously too, with the morality people feel about piracy, is that the belief that like, oh man, if you pirate this game and not enough people buy it, Nintendo will never make a sequel. But I've never believed that, especially now when I'm not going to say that they're more of a movie company and more of a theme park company, but like they're a wider entertainment family company. So I don't know what the likelihood of like a Pikmin movie is, or like a Pikmin game tied to it. Granted, they were in the Galaxy movie, but it does make sense. It doesn't surprise me that they are greenlighting games based on the movies, but I think I prefer that approach other than like chasing the sales. Although that does, I mean, I'm interested. I feel like the new wave of speculation is going to be that thought in reverse, like trying to work backwards. You see a new game and you think, oh man, is this me? Like the leak of a Metroid game, oh man, does this mean there's going to be a Metroid movie? Because to be fair, that patent leak that we saw, we don't know it's a game. We just know it's called Metroid Ravenous. There's nothing in it that points to it being a game.
Right, that's the other thing too.
Mm-hmm. So there could be a lot there. And if we want to extend that even further, it's they cast young, not children, but well, young adults, older children, yeah, like teenagers, to play Link and Zelda in the live action Zelda movie. And how many Zelda stories star a young Zelda and a young Link that are adventuring together? There's really only one, and that's Ocarina. So clearly that movie is going to be modeled after Ocarina, and with that in tow, the greenlighting of an Ocarina remake makes a lot of sense. So I raise you this question then: did the reveal of Ocarina of Time that we got in the Direct, do you think that was purposefully atmospheric, just to show what the game looks like and feels like, just so they could show off the title so people can get excited about it? Are they being purposefully restrictive about it? Or are we only seeing a cutscene because the game isn't as finished as previously thought?
Well, now hold on. It could be Spirit Tracks. Let's be real here.
The movie or the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie.
Maybe start seeing them film on location.
That's the other thing too. Is like it's like I'm 100% positive the only reason that they're doing an Ocarina of Time remake is because the movie is going to closely follow Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
and it's like that one is, I think, is probably the worst one, because that is the game that did not need the remake the most. Like, I'm trying to think of any other. Like, honestly, we gotta remake the Oracle games by now. They're the only ones that I think definitely need a remake at this point.
I just don't think we need any more. I'm not gonna say any more, right? Because like the future is a long time. Never say never. But there's already a lot of Zelda remakes, especially if you count the HD.
I would say, especially just for the Oracle games, because it is so hard to go back to playing those one-screen games where every time it scrolls to a different screen, and we kind of saw that like the Link's Awakening remake really fixed that issue. So we can get something. It doesn't even have to be like something along the lines of that, but like, being able to have the entire thing on a screen is very helpful. Like, just have that specifically. And that's honestly the only remake we need at this point. If they want to port Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD to the Switch, I'm not against that. But that's really the only thing I can think of that we would definitely need.
Those are some still strange omissions. Another story that came out from the previous week is that people, the emulation community has managed to get CEMU running on a Nintendo Switch, which is a Wii U emulator. So people have found a way to get Wii U games running on the Switch. The interesting thing about that is there's really only a handful of games that would even make that worth it, especially with the absence of the Wii U gamepad, which is... there are individual games that haven't been ported to the Switch, like Splatoon, like Mario Maker, and like Smash Bros. For Wii U, but they have clearly better alternatives already represented. This is going to be my lock of the week. I think that there's a world, a possibility that maybe... I think the soonest Wii U game to get a remake is probably Splatoon. I could see a world where they just remake Splatoon and put it on the Switch too, just so they have all of them. Because that one is so particular. It's kind of like whenever Fortnite brings back previous chapters from a nostalgic standpoint, that control-wise, like gameplay-wise, the Splatoon games, Splatoon 1, 2, and 3, other than certain weapons, aren't that different, but people are very particular about that hub world, about that area, and about those characters. Or maybe we could see like a little bit of a gold and silver situation where there's a future Splatoon game where you can go back to the world of Splatoon 1, because they sort of dabbled with that in Splatoon 3. And I will say, just the last thing about Raiders, that I did play a decent amount of Splatoon 3, but I seldomly played it online. I actually do really like the campaigns of these Splatoon games, which is interesting because nobody ever brings them up. It is, and this is going to loop back around to everything, like No, sorry, I was thinking of a different game. They're the closest we're getting to like a Galaxy sequel. Like the platform mechanics are similar to Galaxy. There's a lot of levels especially ones with the little waves like blast off in a direction if you have to jump around them. It's not strictly a platformer, but I did really like the Splatoon 3 campaign. And spoilers, it has a little manta ray boss that is the same one from Mario Sunshine. I remember thinking that was really cool. So I'm excited more about Splatoon Raiders because this is a game that nobody asked for, but is perfectly tailored for me because I didn't really like the online of Splatoon. Not that it's bad, it's just, it's not I know that Nintendo wants to get categorized. Well, sort of. It's weird. That's for Splatoon, they want it to be recognized as a proper online game, but they have an aversion towards esports and supporting competitive communities. I mean, they do it with Splatoon, but they ultimately, weirdly enough, refuse to do it with Smash Bros. But with all of that, I still really don't view these Nintendo games as those like massive multiplayer games. Like if I went to play Splatoon online, I would rather get in a crew with friends to play or get a whole lobby of friends as opposed to playing online with randos. Because I know you can do like Star Fox 2026. I got to get used to saying that online with anyone, like open matchmaking. But I feel like it's not nearly as fun. And the same applies to Mario Party or Nintendo Switch Sports or any of the Mario sports games. Like, yeah, you can play them online, but if I can't yell at the person sitting on the couch with me or in a Discord call, it kind of feels not worth it. That being said, another thing that happened between the previous 2 weeks is, weirdly, and I could bring this up over here, there was a very special free update for Mario Tennis Fever. Have you seen this? Have you heard this?
Yes, I have heard about this. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it is fascinating.
Yeah, the free update. This game got an update before Mario Kart did. Okay, hold on. Oh, right. I love that it starts out like this because this game is still technically a Mario 40th anniversary game, even though we are a good way into 2026 now. I hope that every time we get an update for Mario Tennis Fever, they have to play that ahead of time. Because it makes sense, right? All of those games got greenlit as Mario anniversary titles. I saw people talking about this, all of the recent Galaxy stuff, speculating like, oh man, this means they...
But first of all, I think there's different colored... Fuck, what was it?
Lumas?
I think they said there was like different colored Lumas, maybe? And
okay,
they
yes.
did not show this off, but... There's a new skin for Mario as well, and it's his Mario Galaxy skin.
Right, where the denim is like slightly off purple.
And it's like a lower poly, and it has a shine, and it's ridiculously hard to unlock.
Really? I haven't unlocked enough stuff in Mario Tennis.
You have to get all the medals.
That's nuts. That's awesome, though. I love... And this is a free update, right? It just comes with the game afterwards?
It's a free update. See, this is the kind of thing I'm okay with, because... Unlike with Aces and Super Rush and the awful soccer game, like this isn't like, oh, we're missing stuff and they need to add stuff. No, this was like a very complete game. This game, now $80 definitely not,
right?
Or $70 definitely not. But this was a complete game, and this is just like extra stuff. This is just like extra set dressing, and I'm totally okay with this. Like, this isn't like we're finishing the game. This is just a nice additional thing.
Yeah.
Weird that they added it now, but I mean, I'm not complaining.
I do want to say strictly from like an online infrastructure standpoint. I didn't love Mario Tennis Aces as much as everyone. I really had no problem with the gameplay. It just like wasn't... I remember all the YouTubers were making videos about it. It convinced me to buy it, and then I was like, oh, this is just tennis. This is a Mario Tennis game. But I would always use it as an example when... people would discuss whether they're speculating a new Smash game or just updates to Ultimate that can make it better. Because to be fair, there's a lot of little things in Ultimate that do bug me. It's not enough to make me dislike the game, but just if there was a change, it would be a change. That in Smash Bros. Ultimate, they would start doing these online tournaments. And I really liked them. They were really fun. But every time I won an online tournament, and maybe this is on me because I already 100% of the game, but the reward for winning these online tournaments was a very strong spirit, but all the spirits are in the game already. Like, there was nothing new, so every time I won a tournament, although I like playing Smash Online, I was a little deflated because it just gives me a spirit I already have. Granted, I've tried to 100% other Smash games. I think Ultimate, outside of like 64, is the easiest one to get all the spirits in it, unlock everything in it. So what I wanted was I thought it would be fun to have a more substantial reward for the tournaments, whether it be like an exclusive spirit or even something specific with characters. I don't think they ever should have a new, fully new character locked behind a tournament. But what Mario Tennis Aces did is every time they would add a new character, you could unlock that character just by participating in a tournament. You could unlock more special alternate skins by getting farther in the tournament, but all you had to do was participate to unlock the character. And I really wanted them to do that with Ultimate, not with characters themselves, but like costumes. Like if you won an online tournament, because those online tournaments last like a week, right? It gives you enough time to play it. If you could play an online tournament and then you unlock like a special hat for a character or something, maybe that's too much. Maybe some view it as egregious, but I'm parlaying that to bring up the fact that Mario Tennis Aces, I actually want to look into this as well, the base game roster, because they added a ton of characters after the fact. I just typed in the word tennis. Do you remember that like they would slowly update the game with several characters?
Yeah, no, they did it like every month. It was almost every month that they added characters.
Yeah, and they did it for years too.
No, I think it was only like a year.
Was it? I feel like I remember. Yeah, it starts with.
I think it was just a year. Yeah.
Okay. Do we
or
see
maybe
that
a little
happening?
over a year.
Do we see that happening with the Mario Tennis Fever, or is this probably like the?
Well,
only
we didn't really
update?
get any new characters in this. This
Right.
was just like.
I just mean,
skins
do you think we're gonna get more updates with it? Let's take a look over here.
I don't know. That is a good question. I think. I don't know if we'll be getting any new characters at all. I kind of think that they really did cover their bases.
I mean, they have all the
Diddy
characters
Kong
from
is in it.
Aces, to be fair.
Is Diddy Kong in this game? I forget.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yes. 19. 20,
Well, wait. Is this
21.
Fever or
This
Aces?
is Aces.
No, I meant it's Diddy Kong and Fever.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Hold on.
He
Well,
might
there's a
be. I think he
different
might
background.
be.
I believe it is. I had a picture of the roster. I think we
And he
had
has
it
that new design too.
right
so I
with the
think
little
that
skin
might-
flap in between his eyes.
Yes. Okay, he does. Okay, so
Yeah.
he is in that game. Okay. So I think we're just gonna get more skins personally. If you know, and definitely more courses and more rackets. I think they really hit the nail on the head with the rackets because the rackets make it so that they could give us a fiery piranha plant skin maybe at some point.
I remember there was
The
there
rackets
was an
make it so
old
that-
ass, leaker in the Papagino's Discord server who people trusted as a Smash leaker because they guessed Fire Piranha Plant before it came out, and they were like, "Oh, who would have guessed that? That's such like an obscure character."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like all
I
these
think they
characters
did
down
hit
here.
the nail on the head with the rackets, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think the rackets make it so that, it's not like it you can basically play as any style with any character, and I think the rackets are easily the best gimmick that they've had.
I mean, yeah, if you have to differentiate, so there's like 24 here, and then they added Blooper and Boom Boom and Pauline and Comic and Dry Bones. I remember that being hype. Fire Piranha Plant and Dry Bowser. Okay, so it was less than I thought. And yeah, these got participation bonus for December 28 singles online tournament, otherwise available from January 1st, 2019. So maybe after the tournaments, they would just all unlock. You know, all
Yeah, I
these
think you're
ones
right,
down. Yeah. Oh, no, okay, so all the initial release ones are here. I see. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it launched with 16 characters. Then they added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 after the fact, resulting in 30 characters. Yeah, okay, I remember that being a lot. Okay, that's what I was looking at. So I'm just looking at the roster of Mario Tennis Aces. But yeah, Fever carries over all of those characters. I really don't know who you add. It seems like more that we're just losing our minds a little bit about the prospect of them ever updating Mario Kart world. What I had heard, the prevailing theory is like, oh, maybe they're going to add all the Donkey Kong Bonanza stuff because they're waiting for people to play through the game so that K. Rool isn't a spoiler anymore. But they, like, spoiled Star Fox in the Mario Galaxy movie, like, a month after. It's been almost a year since Bonanza came out.
I think it has been a year.
Yeah, it has been a year. 1 year of Donkey Kong Bonanza. Did you say that the best Switch 2 game for you was Bonanza, or did Air Riders edge it out?
Air Riders edged it out for me.
Okay.
I think we are still seeing that Bonanza revisionism, where people are like, it's still a great game, but now the flaws are sort of rearing their ugly head.
The cracks. Yeah, before, I mean, last year I was very particular, or I was sure that it was a replacement for a 3D Mario, but moving into next year, I'm not so sure. I think there's a very real possibility we can get 3D Mario next year, because it's only settling in now that, like, next year it will have been 10 years since Mario Odyssey, give or take a couple months. Which is
crazy. That's nuts.
I believe we've covered everything when it comes to video games, actually, outside of, apparently, and I only learned this because there was an Arlo video that went up today where he talked about it, that it sounds like, this is just rumbling, this is just rumor, that in Japan, due to, like, Japanese laws of paying the government when it comes to video game sales, that the physical, quote-unquote physical versions of Grand Theft Auto 6 that they're selling, that only have a code on them, have an expiration date on them, that you can only use the code after a certain time.
Really?
That's what I've heard. And I'm sure there's, like, more legal jargon, there's reasons to it, but that is, like, crazy. That is abysmal. That is terrible.
That's actually insane. I cannot believe that. That sucks.
Yeah. Everything basically this entire month, every time we've gone live for Switch 2 Ultra, it's all been terrible stuff about GTA or PlayStation, and everything just sounds like it's getting worse in general. There's more and more games that will come out. But I will say that between the two of us, because this is an episode of Dan 2 Ultra, normally what I used to do on the show is in between, or rather each episode, I would talk about the new movie I saw in theaters, the TV show I've been watching, do my big year ranking, and we are now over halfway through 2026, and I'm still not used to calling it 2026. It's strange. But you and me are normally a lot more up on these shows. We're keeping up with them. Whereas we normally don't have the opportunity to talk about them, but because we have the floor and we could be as annoying as we want when it's Dan 2 Ultra, we have a large swath of both TV shows and movies that have come out over the last month. So let me ask you, I mean, even if it's not on this board necessarily, is there anything, a movie or TV show on this board, these 9 things we're looking at, that really stand out to you, that you have strong opinions on?
So I will say, the only thing I have not seen on this board is Supergirl. That is the one thing I have not seen.
Interesting.
I've seen all the other movies, and I've seen every episode of the TV shows that have come out of those things.
I will say that I guess I could say my piece about Supergirl, but also, as you know, I'm very particular about pacing myself when it comes to streaming shows. So as of this week, I have seen the first episode of the new King of the Hill season. I haven't watched the full season.
Okay.
But
okay,
I am
so that's the one with
the
hard launch, right?
Yeah, I watched the hard launch.
Okay, I will say this season is so. I think the finale last season was good, but it didn't feel like a finale. It was a good episode. It just, it's like I'm a little underwhelmed, but this finale definitely made up for that. It was a very good finale.
I guess with the reboot, like the first season, they knew that they were getting more seasons, right? Or did they go into it with just that one reboot season, like hoping that they would?
They knew. I think they had 4. They had 4 season pickup. I think that's the case. Like 4 10-episode pickups. I might be wrong about that, but I think that is the case.
I mean, do you see it going longer than that? Because how long has the Futurama Hulu series been going on now?
Okay, so I don't know if you heard about this or not. I don't know if we talked about this or if I sent this or not.
Not on the show, no.
This was the last season coming up of the 4-season pickup that they had.
Okay.
But then they just got picked up for another season. However, this next upcoming season after this one is going to be 3 extended specials.
Right, like they did for the first revival, that it was the DVD movies.
Yeah, but I don't know exactly how long these are. So that's why I said they owl housed it, because it could just
Right.
be like 44-minute episodes.
Do we know what kind of specials they are, or just that they are
The only
specials?
thing we know so far is the first one's going to be a holiday special
That makes sense.
in 2027.
So, okay, but I mean, holidays are normally at the end of the year. Does that mean like the first one
Exactly.
is the
That's
end
the
of
thing. I'm
27?
thinking is like, it's going to be over a year until we get to the next thing, which is
Yeah.
crazy to me.
Okay, well, I haven't. I think it was. Did we get a new season of Futurama this year, by the way?
No, we're getting it,
Okay.
I think, next week.
Because I don't. Oh,
And they're going
wow.
back to a weekly format.
I do like that. I haven't seen the latest season because I remember last year you telling me like, "Oh, have you seen the new season?" And no, I didn't even know that it was coming out. Like, that legitimately caught me off guard, and I still haven't seen it. But okay, so then we have a new season this year, and then that would imply that whatever the final episode of this new season is, they were working off the interpretation that they might not get picked up again. Does that mean we're getting another
Yeah.
Futurama finale?
Well, I think with this one, they even the name of it is like the final finality or something. It's like something. It's like very like playing into the fact that it's the final episode.
The
I'm
last
trying
one
to remember
forever. We fucking mean it.
We fucking mean it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay. I mean, like they seem to be like pretty lucrative for them, especially like with all these Hulu series. They've been greenlighting all of these cartoon revivals. Are all of the except for like Phineas and Ferb, I think all of the revivals are on Hulu, right? Like they have King of the Hill, they have Futurama, they have Adventure Time, they have Regular Show, they have. Or wait, is Lost Tapes also on Max? Or is that
It
just
is on Max. Yeah.
Okay, that's also on Max, but you can okay, right. I watch it on Hulu because it's got the Hulu Xfinity thing. But they have Adventure Time Side Quest and then also
Sorry,
Gumball.
it's called Final Ending: The Last Conclusion.
Okay, so they wrote another finale. Because I understand why, right? Because the one time if they're ever like, okay, we're probably gonna, this show can't die, it'll come back at some point, will be the time that it finally dies for real. Because that happened with Doctor Who recently, is people thought it was unkillable and then they killed it again. But like, I don't have any of these outside of the Animaniacs one only ran for 3 seasons and then got canceled, I believe. Were there any other Hulu revivals?
It ran for. So it's funny because with Animaniacs,
Mm-hmm.
they actually their third season got shortened. So if you look at the intro on the third season, normally it's like a contract where it says like a 2-season run, and then it's like a 2-season and 12-episode run or something, or 2-season and 8-episode run, or however long.
Right.
However long the third season was. I'm trying to think if there were any more revivals on Hulu.
Because it seems like they've all stuck around for the most part. Because Futurama's kind of ground zero where you have to see how long that one goes on for. But I mean, that one's currently not canceled, so I could see them just keep perpetually rebooting these. Which number was the first Hulu season of Futurama?
Please don't ask me that.
Okay.
Don't ask me about Futurama season numbers.
But okay,
that's the whole thing right there.
But it's in the double digits. Yeah. Because like for them to for them to say like, oh, we're gonna have as many seasons as there were, so that most of the show is this. For King of the Hill, there were like 13 seasons prior, so that's like that would imply that they would need a lot more seasons of King of the Hill. And I could see the show just going on perpetually, as long as there's new modern stuff for them to complain about. As long as they don't run out of the new modern thing, they'll be good. The only episode I saw was all about the concept of hard launching, and then also an electric truck. Is there anything
I think
more?
that is probably the most modern episode of the season.
I do like that. It's
That's
kind of
probably
become
the one that's the most modern.
I know that it's often used to decry these shows, and I feel like it's valid criticism.
Except for the one with the I don't know if you saw the trailer or not for this season.
I don't believe.
Did you see the trailer or no?
I do not.
Okay,
think
so there's one episode later on that does cover something that's also modern.
I did see pictures of Bobby
it's
with
a good
blue
one.
hair, if that's what you're talking about.
Not that specifically. I could just tell you because it's not like a
I'll
spoiler
get
or
there
anything.
eventually. Yeah.
It's like AI phishing calls.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because like it is valid criticism, but I do actually kind of find it charming now that like it's sort of like mandated, like it's jury duty. Every cartoon reboot has to have an episode where it's like, oh, I'm door dashing this thing. Oh, there's a drone delivering something. I'm gonna slide into the DM. Like, they all need an episode that's about a modern thing. Futurama was weirdly ahead of the curve with their first revival. That they did that a lot with the iPhone episode.
I forgot. I try to forget about that episode because that is like one of my least favorite episodes of the entire show.
Yeah. I do think that there's a level of freedom when it comes to like, and I'm not gonna say Futurama has like a bad season or like been bad or whatever, but there is a freedom when a show is inconsistent. Because, like, if a show is, like, really, really good and then it has, like, a bad episode in a season, then it feels a lot more impactful. But with, like, Futurama and also, to an extent, Rick and Morty, which we'll talk about, when you come across a bad episode, it's not as debilitating because there's already a couple of those. Like, you don't have to worry about that. That my take on it with these cartoon revivals, and also something like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because people feel very strongly about shows running on for too long. I feel like the concept of seasonal rot has sort of changed a little bit. Obviously, people complained about it a lot more in the 2010s in the context of like South Park or Family Guy or SpongeBob. But I think that it's maybe looped around where those things have stayed around long enough that now it just is a constant and it's not as big of a deal or people don't care enough about it. It just is. It fills its spot in the ecosystem. But because of that, or rather despite of that, anyway, on top of that, as long as these seasons create like one or two good episodes every season, then I think that it's worth it, right? It's not wasting anyone's time. It's not like ruining the legacy. As long as there's a good episode, then I'm solid.
I'm torn on that because in concept, I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, every year it seems like we're getting smaller and smaller episode pickups.
Yes.
And it's like, if only, I don't know how to say this. If you have a bad episode in a sea of 22 episodes, that's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like 15 episodes, it's not a big deal. But if you have a bad episode in a sea of like 10 or 8 episodes, that is a 10th or an 8th of the season that is bad. Yeah. That like statistically, it's worse, I think.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair, especially like from a percentage standpoint. But I guess it was more, that was always my take when specifically the Always Sunny seasons. I don't know if you've been up with Always Sunny or watch it at all, but like
I'm caught up.
Yeah, these last couple like 2020 seasons haven't been bad, but it just kind of like it rolls off of me like water. Like I watch all the episodes and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But each season has like one really good episode. Like this latest season, the one that I think it was last year, the gang gets ready for prime time. That might be one of the best episodes
that
of the show.
Is so
like that's
goddamn
a really
funny.
good episode.
That is a really funny episode. The one where they're doing the rehearsal dinner, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that one's very funny. And the fact that like you can watch it on its own, despite the fact that it's part of like this arc in a way.
Right. Well, the episode that comes before and after it aren't as good, but that one is.
What was the one that came before it? I don't even remember that one.
It's not as tied to it as much. It's just like at the end of the episode, they're like, "Oh, we're doing a show." Frank is like, "Oh, we're doing a show or something." There's like a lead in to the next episode.
Okay. I will say, my family does love The Golden Bachelor, so I did like the finale as well. But I'm also biased in that regard. So but then again, I still think the standout episode is 100%. The gang gets ready for prime time, and ironically, I think the worst episode is probably the Abbott crossover.
Yeah, because I didn't even know that they were. I knew that they were doing a crossover episode, but I just assumed it was an episode of Abbott. And weirdly, Abbott's half of that is a better episode.
It is a better episode,
right? Because
unfortunately, it's like I don't want to watch them at the school. If it's in the style of a Sunny episode, I kind of want to watch them at Patty's. They're doing something in Philly. And it's like, I already saw them at the school for 22 minutes. I don't need to see them at the school for another 22 minutes.
Right. And I think what makes the primetime episode so good is that, like, all of them have their own thing going on and all their bits run off each other. And in the Abbott episode, they also all have, like, little side plots going on. But in the Always Sunny version of it, they're, like, all doing one thing and sort of act. Charlie could read. But by, like, season 3, they like the joke of him being illiterate, so they just stay with it.
It is a good joke. I do like that joke. But, yeah. No, it's
not to mark it
definitely.
too much, but I talk about it. I talk about it a little bit in the Chowder prologue, and I'm going to talk about it more in the video that will hopefully come out on Friday. You know, the big July 31st one that happens every year. The Big Three, some are calling it. In looking at these shows, specifically Chowder, that they do really get flanderized, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. The concept of flanderization, for the most part, is just like the crew thinking of a joke, and then it gets a laugh every time, so then they commit harder and harder to it. And there's a lot of that across multiple shows. Do you have any more strong feelings about King of the Hill? Without getting too much into spoilers, just the rest of the season. Do you have an episode in the new season that you think is, like, the best one?
The second episode, I'd say, is probably the most emotional.
Okay.
You'll see when you get to it.
Right.
I think my favorite one is the one where what's the word? It's the one where Peggy goes through changes. That's probably my favorite episode of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the finale. I think the finale might be my favorite, but I think the Peggy episode might be my favorite, but the finale is a close second.
Okay.
I think that it is very funny. There's also a retcon in this season I'm not like a big fan of that they might have hinted at last season. And you'll get to it pretty soon, but it's a little annoying with how they handled it, but it's not like distractingly annoying. And they do something with Khan's character that I really enjoy this season. It's kind of like, this is actually kind of genius, and I'm really glad that they did this. Because it helps develop Khan and it helps develop another character. No, I just think it's definitely a good season. One of the best.
I will say, for like the long running adult animated sitcoms, there's a very real chance that I've seen most of them, but I think I've said this before, that there was a period of time throughout high school when I would get home from school and, like, still in my uniform, just like flop on the couch and turn on Comedy Central and watch a bunch, because all they ever aired around that time was South Park and Futurama, and I would just watch Futurama and South Park until I passed out on the couch and then just nap there, and then I would wake up when it was dark. So there was like a couple year stretch of my teenagers where I caught the beginning of basically every episode of South Park and Futurama, and other shows like Family Guy and American Dad that are just, whenever you travel in a hotel, they're just always on the TV. There's always clips going around. I know that we're different because obviously you have a better reason to watch every episode of American Dad. But for these long-running adult animated series, I don't think I've actually seen, like, all of them. I think I've just seen episodes of them across the whole way. So it's possible that if there are important plot lines to King of the Hill that are retconned, that I might not even be wary of them, because I've seen a decent amount of King of the Hill, but I've never, like, put it on as a streaming show and watched from episode 1 to finale. Every episode I've watched has, like, been on Adult Swim. And granted, there's only so many episodes, so it's possible I have systematically made my way through them, but it's also likely that I just haven't seen all of it. And there's also some shows that I just put on to sleep, like Futurama and Family Guy, but you only get through the first,
right,
if even that, the first season. And that's what's interesting. I've been doing this show on the Patreon called Weekly Monday Nights, where I watch the cartoons that aired on the Cartoon Network the same day 15 years ago. And in doing so, The Amazing World of Gumball was just added to the lineup. And I'm sure you've seen the image of people comparing the design of Season 3 Gumball to the design of Season 1 Gumball and talk about how they removed his soul or whatever. But I have always been of the opinion that I like later Gumball more. Like, I think Season 3 onward, it sort of becomes a different show, and I prefer that show. Or at least I thought. So going back to watch Season 1 of Gumball, which I never have because every time I start a rewatch, I start from, like, Season 3 if I put it on. has been really illuminating that, because season 1 and the later seasons are different. Gumball in the early seasons is more of a child, and then in the later seasons he's more Gen Z, where he's very like snarky and online and makes quips about everyone. Like, it's a lot more of a sarcastic show later on, and witty, and there's
Let's not
banter
forget
to
that
it.
the first episode of the show is about them returning a DVD rental.
Yeah,
And
well,
like where we get to now, it's kind of crazy how much things changed over the years of that show.
well, there's season 1 episodes where you're watching it and they're doing kid stuff, like specifically Anais is doing kid stuff, and it's like you think like, okay, well, if it was a later season they would not be acting like this, but there is a charm to it. And as I've been watching it each week, I think it's just like all killer. Like, I genuinely, the first season of Gumball is fantastic. Like, I don't know if I've seen an episode in it that's bad. They've all been bangers the entire time, and it's sort of changed my perspective a little bit. I can say
Season 1's good.
before we have movies and shows that we've both watched, that what have you heard about Supergirl?
I've heard it's not very good, like writing wise. I heard the CG can be hit or miss, and I heard that it has the worst needle drop of all time.
I don't know about all time, but it is pretty bad. Once I got to it in the movie, I was just confused. I was genuinely baffled that I don't know what they were going for. Like, it doesn't even fail to get across a point. I just genuinely don't know what they were doing. I don't know what the point of it was. Maybe they planned a different song. It's so out of place, and even if you don't expect a weird needle drop, because I went into it and I heard that there was a really bad needle drop, it's still like the whole theater was looking around like they just turned all the lights on. Like, everyone was so confused. I will say, but going into it, I heard like, oh man, this is terrible. This is gonna kill the DCU. It's over. Like, they had a terrible movie, and it's been getting like 40%. It's like not great, but it's generic. Like, I compared it to like a Phase 2 Marvel movie. Like, it's about on the level of like a Doctor Strange or like an Ant-Man. And obviously, you know, there's always going to be some inherent sexism in that, specifically with it being a Supergirl movie. But I also think that discussion is interesting when people, because the bar has been lifted a little bit, the idea that a generic or mediocre movie could kill the DCU is technically more prescient, because I think that there's an argument about whether or not there is a superhero fatigue, or if it just is like bad movies that have, and the streaming series that have been pushed out nonstop to lead people to believe that even if the movies were still good, that people are just over it. And I think that you can get away with this Supergirl movie in like 2016. But I don't think you can get away with it in 2026. My thing is, I don't think a generic movie kills the universe, but I prefer, and I think audiences prefer, a director-driven superhero movie, right? That's why they're letting Ryan Coogler get carte blanche with the Black Panther movies. The Black Panther movies are consistently good because Ryan Coogler is a good director. And I've been hearing a lot of really interesting things about Dustin Cretton about the new Spider-Man, that it's finally like allowing the stories I like hearing are after being on the set of the Odyssey. Tom Holland like immediately ran to Marvel and he's like, wait, we got to film these on location. Like, we got to film with actual props. I didn't know you could do this the whole time. And it's sort of heartwarming to watch that. It's genuinely got me excited for the new Spider-Man, which I didn't think I would be a year or so ago, because I do think consistently the last one, the one with 3 Spider-Men in it, was a fun time, but I don't think it holds up. But I think for the most part, I really like Homecoming. Like, I genuinely think like that's a good movie. And you have these movies. You have Ryan Coogler with Black Panther, and you have James Gunn with Superman. Superman isn't just a good movie, but it is a James Gunn movie. The prospect, the excitement of a James Gunn DCU is that James Gunn is a creative person and a really good director, and also understands these characters. So the idea of doing a Supergirl movie that is a director who isn't James Gunn trying to make a movie like a James Gunn movie, it just falls flat, because what's the point then? I really don't think we need all of these different pieces of the universe. I think realistically, Especially if they plan on doing their own DCU Batman. Like, I think that's a really bad idea. I know people don't want the Matt Reeves Batman to be in the DCU because that would, like, change the tone of it if Superman is also flying around. But I think they tried having two Batman before, and it just did not work. It was a flop. I think it would be a mistake for them to make a DCU Batman that is coming out concurrently with the Matt Reeves Batman, because I think what makes a crossover interesting are different ideals, different perspectives on these characters. I think you just have Matt Reeves Batman and James Gunn Superman, and then maybe have a talented director do like a Wonder Woman movie, right? I don't think we need these little series in between. I think the DCU is off to a rocky start, despite everyone really loving Superman, because there's like a bunch of shit that just isn't related and isn't important. So for the most part, Supergirl's fine. Ironically, and I'm not saying this to defend anyone or make light of a bad situation, ironically, this is probably what Joss Whedon's Supergirl was going to look like. His whole thing with fixing up the Justice League is that he wanted to make a Supergirl movie. Evidently, that did not happen. But this movie, and I'm not saying this about anyone's character, like the character of a...
More than Toy Story 4, personally. I think that the story was better. I think that focusing it around Jesse specifically was a very good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, and I know, so I know all the other toys got sidelined, and that's been a problem since 4. And I think if you're like, you can't have that as a mark against the film if you don't also have it as a mark against the film for 4, because I think 4 did it much worse, because at least in 5 they did not make Buzz terrible. Like, they gave him a not terrible storyline, which I mean, like, it's not my favorite storyline with him, but like 4's was so not good that the bar was so low.
I mean, for the last 3 movies, Buzz has just been a running gag character. Like, I haven't been moved by any of his arcs. They're all... like, he is the running gag of each of those movies.
Right. And I don't disagree. It's just, I think Thor's handling of it was the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think they really just dumbed him down. And with 5 specifically, and this is not a knock on 1, 2, 3, and 4, but what 5 does that I really like is that for the first time, it kind of feels like the kid is equally as important as the toys.
Yes.
Like, the kid is like, feels like a main character. And that comes true also in the climax, where it's like the toys have done everything they can in their power, and now it all depends on Bonnie to actually take the final step.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was great that they did that. Again, that's not a knock on the other 4 movies, because I do love the characters of Toy Story, but, obviously, like, what can you actually say about Andy as a character?
Right.
They love him, but, like, what does that say about Andy specifically?
Mm-hmm. I do like the read that it's sort of like the popular trend of the 90s, where there was always a divorce movie or some divorced dad trying to win back their kid, because there's so many 90s movies with that exact plot. The read of Toy Story as that movie, because it is like Buzz Lightyear kind of feels like a stepdad coming in, and Woody is threatened by that. It's more in relation to the toys. You're right. I will say that, like, I don't like Toy Story 4, so I don't care much about, like, the sanctity of Woody's arc. I don't think that they undo anything, but it's pretty evident that there was probably a draft of this movie that didn't include Woody, because he doesn't really do a whole lot in it. He just is there, but I imagine they allowed a little bit of wiggle room just in case, right? They're like, they at some point probably got cold feet and realized, like, we can't have a Toy Story movie without Tom Hanks playing Woody, and Tom Hanks is always down to keep playing Woody, so they're like, okay, yeah, we'll just have Woody come back. Because once he does come back, they have the joke with him aging, him bald and fat, But outside of that, he kind of just does. He's just also there. Like, I don't know if he has that much going on outside of like, oh, he's a Toy Story character. He's the Toy Story character. He needs to be in this movie. Because you're right, the movie is definitely more about Jessie.
Right. No, it's definitely her movie. And I will say also, like, there was a joke going around, and I don't even know if it's a joke. I think people might have been serious, where it's like, I always thought Woody and Jessie would end up together. So it feels like Woody kind of got cucked, and I'm like, I don't think that was ever the case.
We watched the same movie.
Have we watched the same movies? That was never the case.
To their credit, they probably just forget that Bo Peep exists because the movies do until that fourth one. I think if you're gonna keep making these movies, because I think when the movie was announced, the plot of it had more to do with the Buzz Lightyear army, and then it just turned into something else. That the core of these movies is the emotional core, but it kind of seems like the people writing them, the newer Toy Story movies, want to delve more into the universe, because the more Toy Story movies you make, the more questions you have to ask about the rules of the universe. And the previous movie kind of does that with Forky. Like, at what point does trash just become a living being? Do they have souls? How does that work? And now we have that with technology. And I was kind of dreading it going into it, because I really thought that when I was younger and I would go into movies like this, I would, I was terminally online. I had my iPod at all times, and I thought that, like, YouTube was the future of entertainment. So anytime traditional entertainment would decry the internet, I would scoff and be like, oh, that's ridiculous. This is the future. But now that I've been online for long enough and I'm an adult, I don't think that, I don't think your kids should have an iPad. I think that's probably very bad for them. And I think what they landed on was interesting, that obviously they can't do away with it, but maybe tech is a good way to, like, bridge kids together, because they need to coexist. There's no way you can get rid of it. But I was going into it that I was a little worried that it was going to be a pro-tech, like, outright, that they were going to be like, oh, we learned the error of our ways. This pad is actually good for her for making friends. Maybe I am too cynical for a movie with a concept like this, because maybe like a couple years ago there was a lot more excitement when it came to new technology. Like, if you showed me the Google Meta glasses when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I'd be like, whoa, that's so cool, we live in the future now. But now in, like, a crazy surveillance state, I see that, I'm like, oh, that's horrifying. Someone can just be recording you at any moment. That's horrific, because once you know what the technology is used for, it's your awe and wonderment goes to depression. And the same thing happened in the movie, and maybe this is a situation of just being the friend that's too woke, but there's a big moment at the end of the movie where all of these robot buzzes are revealed to secretly be drones. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, I could just envision an army of Buzz Lightyears just, like, attacking some country somewhere in drone form, and we see, like, footage of it. It freaked me out when I saw it. I don't think I was getting the desired effect at all.
Oh, okay. So I don't disagree, but at the same time, I think it's weird, because it's also like, it's a culmination of 4 movies and Buzz finally being able to fly, like, legitimately.
Yeah.
Like, that is, it's weird, because, like, yes, that's true. And I also think that, like, ever since 2018, maybe, we've just been experiencing technology fatigue. Mm-hmm. Like, we're just tired of technology.
Yeah.
It's a necessity of life, but we don't need to keep shoving it in everyone's faces.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now that, like, we're at the current gen of gaming, and it's like, where do we even go from here graphically? Like, who actually cares about the PS6?
Yeah.
Who cares about Xbox's next console? Nobody really cares, because what could they possibly do? Like, now it's 240 frames per second. It's like, I never had a problem with 60. And, like, I could play at 120, but, like, it's the same to me personally. Like, I don't feel a difference. So you saying it's 240 doesn't mean anything to me either. You know, it's like, where do we go from here? So, it's just, I understand what you're saying, for sure. But I actually went in with, like, a different mindset, where I kind of thought it was going to be, like, technology bad.
Right.
And that's the message of the story. And I kind of am glad that they didn't go that route. Like, but it's not also technology good. It's I think it's more of a nuanced take, and I think it could have been done a little better per se. But I'm glad that they did go down the route that they did. That being said, I also saw what you said, and I don't disagree. It's like,
Yeah,
I can't believe that like they have this unregulated chatting app that quote only kids have access to.
What I wrote for my review is for a movie about the role of technology in modern children's lives, it doesn't really seem to understand it all that well. The resolution fringes on, to the parent's knowledge, a child sending their address to someone via the internet, and no one seems to mind or care. That's all I wrote about it, which is true. That happens in the movie. And the argument could be like, well, like, oh, but, you know, the toy actually sent that and the buzzes picked it up. It's like, yeah, but the parent doesn't know that. They just know that their kid, like, they sent out their address to a stranger.
And what's even worse is that they're not the ones who sent it, so that's even a shock for the people who sent it.
Right.
Like that's even more shady.
That's
it's like,
the gag
damn.
for the adults in these Toy Story movies. There's a bit in it earlier where she's like, "Oh, thanks for packing my Jessie doll," and he's like, "Oh, I don't remember that." "Oh, you're welcome. I must have done that." Like the adults are cartoonishly stupid in the Toy Story movies.
Yeah, they kind of are.
I don't know if you saw the patent, but PlayStation is trying to develop a controller that has no buttons on it. It's just a screen, a digital-only controller. Also, you know, a major story that happened between installments of Switch 2 Ultra. PSN is down, and it's been down for the last couple days. Really makes you think that, hey, if all your games were only on a digital-only library and you had no physical games, that you really wouldn't be able to do much because PSN is just down. Imagine if you couldn't get access to those licenses. That might really suck, huh? I choose to believe that it's like a targeted attack due to recent stories, but maybe that's too optimistic. But I had the opportunity to see Toy Story a second time, because the first time I went, I actually saw Disclosure Day earlier that day, and then I went into the movie theater. Mixed things about it. Do you have any strong feelings about Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day?
I don't have like super strong feelings. I thought it was good. Nowhere near my favorite Spielberg outing. Not to say it's that is bad, but I just it's so crazy because we'll talk about the Odyssey too.
Yeah,
I did not have this problem with the Odyssey, but I felt like Disclosure Day just felt way too long. It felt long.
Yeah.
And I could feel the minutes draining, and it's just like, this is really like, I'm not complaining that I'm not enjoying the movie, but like, I feel like we could have trimmed half an hour basically. And I think it would have tightened up a good amount. I don't dislike the movie. Like I said, I am actually glad that the trailers did not give away too much for like the first time ever, though I think that was also maybe a discredit to it, because I think financially it didn't do super well. I could be wrong about that. I honestly, I wasn't even going to see it except when I heard word of mouth that it was pretty good, and then sometimes it wasn't good, but you know, if it's a 6 out of 10, it's definitely worth seeing in my book, at least. And it's definitely like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I think the longer I think about it, I have a 7. I might lower it to a 6 just because it's a good movie. It's very good, but like, it doesn't do anything that makes me think this is Spielberg telling the story that he really wants to tell.
I think it's incredibly visually interesting, but it's also sort of generic, where it's like,
except for one thing in particular, and if you know.
There's I never thought that I would encounter a movie in 2026 that isn't like a big Marvel or Star Wars whatever, where everything looks out of date because there's such a slim budget. But it's been a good month now. Disclosure Day is about aliens. It's an alien thing. There's aliens, extraterrestrial. There's aliens in it. And it kind of builds up to this big reveal. And not only is there a creature in the movie, but also there are several animals in the movie. They need animals for very specific visuals, and you see it in the trailer. And I remember my first experience with this movie is seeing a trailer for it and being like, whoa, that looks really good. And then my roommate said, like, that looks ugly. Why does it look like that? And upon seeing the movie, it is noticeable. I think that the computer-generated effects are really noticeable. And for anyone else, I think I could... I don't know if I would look past it, because obviously Spielberg is Spielberg, but when you're comparing it to other Spielberg movies, like, regardless of how goofy E.T. looks, you never doubted that he was in the room with them. I don't know why he gave up on doing puppets and practical effects, and there's a lot of that in the Odyssey, and I gotta say, I fucking loved the Odyssey. But I wanted to look past it, but there's... the effects in it, it just, like, took me out of it, because all of the handheld stuff is fantastic. Like, I think it's incredibly visually compelling when it's people just on the road, in a barn, in their apartment, but all the just like the animals in the woods, like it looks bad, and it takes you out of it. Even something like as stupid as Alf, like there's a fucking puppet that's just a guy and an arm, but you know it's there, you know it's physically there. I just did not buy the alien. It made me laugh, which is not what they were going for. Also, I think that, again, like I said, I'm a little bit more cynical, and I brought up cynicism when talking about Toy Story 5, but there was a time last year when I got really into all the Mission Impossible movies, and the big finale movie, The Final Reckoning, kind of fringes on Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise's character, using the power of friendship to, like, stop nuclear annihilation. And for any other movie, that's silly, right? For a movie made for adults, you could throw up your nose and think that's ridiculous, that would never happen. But the movie has such an eclectic energy, and Tom Cruise is so good in it that you legitimately believe. You believe for a moment that he can, just this one fucking white boy with swag, can foster peace across the entire world. But in Disclosure Day, the plot of the movie is that World War III is currently happening in the background, but there's information of aliens that comes out, historical record, right? Presidents interacting with them on tape, on video, and all of the news stations pick it up, and they all unanimously agree that it's real, and that is just not believable for me. When there's a shot in this movie that shows Fox News and CNN next to each other, both earnestly showing the same thing. Yeah, like, no fucking way. Like, if it shows a president in a bad light, like, no, they'd say it's AI or whatever. Like, I just, that's a bridge too far for me to believe. It's simply too optimistic. It's also
funny, because I just don't think that's how it works. Like, I don't think there's a central news network where everything kind of is run like that. It really does remind me of fucking... a Clone High VHS Enhance, where it's just like it's VHS pause, like VHS pause.
Yeah,
it's this like magical way that things work, and that's fine for Clone High because it's a parody, it's a comedy.
Yeah,
but like, you want me to take you seriously? It's so hard for me to believe that this is how the news works, and you're telling me at the same time that, like, it all fringes on cable news,
right?
Who the fuck cares about cable news?
It's a weird movie to see in 2026. It's simply too optimistic for current day. But outside of that, how did you find the Odyssey? Where did you see it? What was your theater experience?
I just saw it on Sunday, and I will say, going into it, I was really frustrated, not because of the movie itself, but because it might have been like the worst screening I've ever been to, technically, for the beginning. Okay. Because every trailer, there was 5 minutes of black screen between the trailers. Oh my God. The movie started an hour after it was supposed to.
Jesus.
And for the first 20 minutes, the lights did not go off.
Of the movie?
It just did not go off. The lights did not go off for the movie.
That's terrible. This is like every time you...
And yet...
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna... Do you watch Red Letter Media at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I like their reviews of older movies and more analysis and watching tapes. But whenever they talk about a modern movie, every single time, like clockwork, I don't know if Milwaukee just has the worst theater in the world, but every time, like one of them walked out of Obsession because teenagers were being too loud or whatever. Like it bums me out every time that they always seem to have a bad time because of their theater experience. And I do think that it like shades their opinions on the movies a little bit, but it's a shame because I really love the movie theater. Did you get to see the Odyssey in IMAX though?
No, I kind of just thought the normal way.
That's fair.
I was with my parents, and
Mm-hmm.
my dad also has AMC Stubs A-list, but my mom doesn't, and
Shout
she
out.
didn't really want to pay
Right.
for an IMAX ticket, which I get. But even with all of that bad stuff, I still really, really enjoyed the Odyssey. I
Yeah.
didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but then at some point in the movie, everything just clicked for me. And it was pretty early on, too, that everything just clicked. I'd say when we got to the Cyclops, that's when things kind of just were like, oh, this is kind of really fucking cool, actually. This is a really cool movie.
Did you know anything about the story of the Odyssey going into it?
I did a little bit. Like, I don't know. Have you read Percy Jackson?
I haven't, but I've
Okay.
seen the movie.
So, like, some
I
of the
think.
stuff I kind of knew already.
Right.
Like, I knew about Xerxes. I knew, like, as soon as she said who she was, like, Xerxes, I'm like, oh, that's it. I know what's going to happen to them. I knew about the Sirens. I knew about the Cyclops. I knew he was the son of Poseidon. Um, I knew about Calypso. Like, I knew of these characters.
Right.
So as soon as like they name dropped it, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what they're doing, which wasn't a bad thing. I
Right.
think it was handled very well. I think the Zendaya reveal was very well handled. I
That's
like that a
nuts.
lot.
Oops, sorry. Yeah. I mean, I had a very similar experience to you where, like, early on I was a little shaky because the story, the legend of Odysseus, is he's kind of like a cunning trickster. And the story as it goes in the Odyssey in its adaptations is retold a lot and maybe misinterpreted, but what he does with the Cyclops is he stabs it in the eye, which is fantastic. The Cyclops looks nuts in that movie, but also when I was
It
looking
does.
at it, did you? I think it's because his chest and his nipples. I couldn't stop thinking about Mr. Frog's dad.
Yeah,
Like
I
it
kinda
looked a
see
lot
that.
like him, but like gray paint. But Odysseus will stab him in the eye, and then the Cyclops is like, "Oh, what is your name? Tell me your name." And then Odysseus says his name is Nobody. And then there are other Cyclops in that cave, and they say, "Who did this to you?" Or they say, "Who hurts you?" And he says Nobody because that's what he thought Odysseus' name was. And then they get to escape because the other Cyclops are like, "Oh, nobody hurt you. Okay, never mind." And that doesn't happen in the movie. And when that didn't happen, I was kind of shaken and I was like, "Oh, what's wrong with this movie? They're kind of removing like Odysseus is supposed to be a really cunning trickster character. Why are they removing all this?" And it almost made me dislike the movie. And then in the third act legitimately it all clicked because the movie, the way I worded it in my review is it's a perfect companion piece after Oppenheimer. Like it's sort of a pseudo sequel or prequel to Oppenheimer. And they treat I don't feel bad about saying all this because these are stories told over and over again. I won't say too much about like the actual goings on in the movie, but the Trojan horse scene, that is not shown as like a triumphant cunning hero outsmarting his opponent. It is shown as them like breaking the law of the gods and breaking the law of man, and there's no longer any like humanity there. They have betrayed humanity by pulling a trick like that, and it is emblematic of the atom bomb. And framing Odysseus as not like his most cunning feat as like a betrayal of humanity, that's when it started to make sense. And I was like, holy shit, that's why they don't have, because even in the movie they say like, oh, he's as intelligent as he is strong. And my early review was like, oh man, why they keep insisting he's smart, but we don't see any of that. But it makes more sense in this movie acting as a companion piece to Oppenheimer, that it's not supposed to be a cunning feat. It's supposed to be a betrayal. They talk a lot about Zeus's law in the movie, and that is why like the fall of their society mirrors the fall of like modern America that they're talking about, right? That is what causes the downturn into
Right.
nuclear annihilation. It is a domino that pushes over, and it blew my mind. And I the whole time in the movie, I try not to think too much about a review I'm going to leave while watching it because I like to be immersed in it. There were like 5 or 6 moments in this movie where I legit leaned forward out of my chair. I did get to see it in IMAX. And I will say that it was a fantastic. I mean, it's obviously made for IMAX, and it was a fantastic experience. But it's not as much of an end all be all for it. Like Oppenheimer, I don't I think Oppenheimer's a good movie, but I don't want to call it a gimmick movie. But that one, because of the scale of the destruction in it, if you're not seeing it in IMAX, there's really no point. I remember like like maybe a month after it came out, my grandparents asked if I recommended it. They're like, "Oh, it's out on demand. We're gonna watch it at home." And I was like, "Oh, you probably, if you're gonna watch it at home, you really don't need to watch it. Like if you can't see it in IMAX, there's really no point." And I wouldn't go that far with the Odyssey because I do just think it's a fantastic movie. The whole time, like towards the tail end and walking to my car and driving, I really didn't want to give it 5 stars because I very seldom ever give multiple movies 5 stars in one year, and I still think that the drama is like the best movie of the year, but I couldn't not give it 5 stars. And honestly, the more I think about the Odyssey, even from like a sound design standpoint, Ludwig Göransson's soundtrack of it, the way he strums the bow like that of instrument and it goes into the score, the more I think about it, the more I think it might be the best movie of the year, and I couldn't give it anything lower than 5 stars. I fucking love this movie, and it kind of makes me want to reanalyze the previous Nolan films.
I still think I like Oppenheimer a little bit more,
Interesting.
if only because I just think that the side characters were a bit stronger in Oppenheimer. I think that there was like, I like the grayness of Oppenheimer's character more than the retelling of Odysseus's character, but they're very close for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your opinion on Interstellar? I was never a big Interstellar guy.
I haven't rewatched it. So it came out in what, like 2016, right? 2015?
Right.
So I was I was a teenager when I saw it, and I don't think I got it. I thought it looked cool, but I don't think I got it. I would like to rewatch it. I've never watched Tenet, but I do kind of want to, given the current context, because all I knew about Tenet at the time was that it came out like late 2020, and I was not willing to die for that shit at the time. But the fact that both Zendaya and Robert Pattinson have been in the 5-star movies that I have placed for this year, I liked Dune Part 2, but I'm not as particularly like into the Duneverse, but I'm really excited just because I've liked all of Pattinson's recent projects. I think he's been fantastic. So I think Zendaya might be one of my favorite actresses now, which is why I'm probably more excited for Spider-Man than I should be. But yeah, I'm having a little bit of an Odyssey era. I don't know if you ever got into Epic the Musical. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, well, yeah, conceptually, it's just like there is no actual live production. It was made during the pandemic, and it's all just through recordings and animatics. And it's like fine. I like the music from it, but I have seen an onslaught of people on TikTok like completely certain, refusing to believe otherwise, that the popularity of the Odyssey is almost entirely due to Epic the Musical and the animatics online. And that is laughable. I've seen it written a lot. I've seen it posted several times, like, oh man, you legitimately believe people saw the Odyssey without seeing Epic? And then there's like, the bit in the movie, or the song rather, where it goes boom, boom, and then he strums the bow. There's like a hidden Mickey syndrome thing happening where people are like, no, dude, this is the exact same chord progression as the song from Epic. And it's just ridiculous. It makes me feel like I'm going insane that everyone talks about Epic the Musical and the Odyssey like it's the secret 6th season of Stranger Things, and the Odyssey completely mogs Epic. I just have to say that it's been really annoying me to see all these takes. But those are all the movies. When Among Us came out, when it like shadow dropped after the Game Awards, or sorry, the Summer Games Fest, did you watch it all in that day or like across that week? Because I was watching about 2 episodes a week.
I watched across like a day or so. Yeah.
Okay. What did you think of the Among Us show? It really surprised me.
I liked it. I really did. I thought it was a very good show. We're never going to get a season 2. It's just never going to happen.
The thing is, I like the format too. Like, I think you could make multiple seasons, just have them be a different
it could be like
cast
an
of
anthology.
people each time. Yeah, like a Knives Out situation. But well, what was the story? I guess that's the story of the show. It's just like the story that went into making it, because like it's a really funny show. I really like Owen Dennis. Brian David Gilbert wrote for a lot of episodes, which shocked me. I didn't know that that's what he was working on. But like the show was like done in 2024, right? And then they just sat on it for a while.
Yeah, it Paramount is Paramount, so fucking wish it was with anyone else.
Right. I wonder just why they waited for so long, because it's, for a video game adaptation, it's a good show. I haven't played Among Us, so I imagine it's more or less accurate. But it's been long now, because Among Us's height was in 2020, and I'm sure people still play it. But 24, I don't know, maybe it's the sweet spot where it's been long enough without it that now it can come back and have a little bit of a resurgence with the show. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. I will say that as far as recent shows and movies go, I haven't seen anything related to Avatar. Have you watched any of the new Avatar Paramount stuff?
I haven't seen the original series, so
Okay.
I have no stake in Avatar whatsoever.
Right. All I've seen this weekend is, I don't know if it's the movie or it's the new series, that there was like a panel at Comic-Con that they were showing like developmental
I think it was the
pictures of
movie.
it, and it said there was like a character description on it, and it said as per ChatGPT. That doesn't instill a lot of hope with me. I don't know.
I don't get how that got past like
Yeah.
everybody when they presented it.
I've heard, I mean, in our little animation community circle where we're getting notified every time somebody logs something, it seems like people really like the movie at the very least. It'd be nice if it did like a digital circus situation and they actually release it in wider theaters, because that's another situation of Paramount really fucking something over.
I've actually been hearing like mixed things about it. Like,
Really?
not like it's bad per se. Like everyone says it looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I
But they've been
thought.
also saying like, the story is not that great, and the voice acting is not good at all, or voice direction. I don't know. Which again, I have no point of reference for that.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it looks pretty. I could say that much at least.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to have a point of reference to say it looks very good. It does look very good.
Yes.
But I can also say from the clips that I've seen that, like, yeah, the voice acting is a little wonky. It is a little strange how some of these things are directed and spoken. Like, that is not how I think it should have sounded. And it's not even a headcanon thing. It's more along the lines of like, if you have animation this good and voice acting this stilted, it kind of like levels it out, which is insane to me.
Takes you out of it a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
The only other thing I've seen from the weekend is that obviously Avatar wears its influences on its sleeve, and the idea with the different nations in Avatar, Fire Nation, Earth Nation, and Air and Water, is that they take after different cultures, different actual cultures, and they're heavily based on that. That it seems like now they're moving more into like our own fictional sci-fi universe that I believe, I'm not entirely attuned to this, but I believe that the writing in the original series and Korra, whenever you would have writing on screen, it would be Chinese. It'd be written, is it Mandarin? Mandarin's the spoken language.
I think it's. Oh, okay. I was just saying, I think it's Mandarin, but
Yeah,
maybe I don't know.
the written language, it was written with Chinese characters, but now they have like their avatar font. You know how like Star Wars and like Zelda have like Hyrulean and whatever, like they have their very specific own world building thing. That it seems like, especially with the character designs, I've seen people point it out, like in the facial features, they seem to be moving away from those cultural concepts and cultural inspirations and more into kind of just a generic anime look. I saw someone refer to it as just like, oh, it's just been Voltronized. It just looks like Netflix's Voltron now. And I didn't come to that opinion on my own, so I can't in good conscience say that like I agree with it, but I certainly didn't disagree with it, at least for that part. As far as shows that wear their anime influences on their sleeve, though, have you been watching any of this newest season of My Adventures with Superman?
Yeah, I'm all caught up.
I have really loved this, and I've been trying to make myself watch X-Men 97, and even earlier this year was something like Invincible. And it's the same comparison with why Doctor Who had fallen off in the last couple of years and then got canceled. That all of these streaming shows, all of these regular shows, so to speak, are very attuned and interested in the idea of one story, of one overarching plot, of just an arc, and each episode is kind of intermittent. You're meant to watch it all in a day. So the Five Adventures with Superman, I don't find that interesting. I don't find the Superboy stuff that interesting, or the Super Hank stuff, or the Super Hank stuff. You know, that stuff is whatever, but the show still has really good individual episodes. And I feel like a lot of modern superhero cartoons don't have that. Like, their focus, specifically X-Men has, like, the new seasons of the animated X-Men are split into, like, 3-episode arcs across it, and it's such a slog to watch. Just having, like, a 22-minute adventure that has a first, second, and third act. This most recent episode where they just get sent to, like, Battle World and they do Space Olympics. Like, it's really fun. They're really willing to do really weird concepts. There's an episode before that where Jimmy signs up to test out a dating app, and then they turn him into a wolf. And an episode before that, or maybe the same episode, where Kara and Lois Lane just break into a musical number. It's just such a good and fun show. Yeah, it is the same episode, and I've loved every episode so far. And I forget I honestly did not think that they were going to bring this series back. I was surprised they renewed it for a third season. And I think that I think maybe the showrunner of the show said that, like, it hasn't been picked up for another season yet. But, you know, we talked about the DCU earlier, that I assumed every animated project that wasn't canon to the DCU was getting canceled. But apparently we're going to get a second season of Caped Crusader on Amazon. And to be fair, I didn't even really like season 1 anyway. We did. But
it came out, I think.
Oh, it came out? Well, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that.
I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Hold on.
But I love My Adventure with Superman, and it's a much bigger deal because, like, I normally don't like action cartoons like this. But this is what I've been missing. It comes out Friday. Oh shit, that comes out soon then. Okay, a lot of stuff. Sorry, no, we were too busy watching the first episode of Stewart Fails to Save the Universe, and then we figured out that the intro is AI generated, so we gave up on the show. I can say that the best part of the show is Brian Posen, but you could say that about like 7 different shows.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more about My Adventure with Superman? I just wanted to say how much I love this series, watching it weekly.
I do love the series so much. Mm-hmm. I'm a little confused what their end game is for this season, because I think the other 2 seasons had a pretty well-defined end game, and I think going into the season, everyone thought Cyborg Superman was going to be the end game. Mm-hmm. But then they kind of like did that very early, which is fine. I think that episode was very good. But like I said, I don't know what to expect for the finale, and that terrifies me. But it also kind of excites me. Like I'm very curious where they're going with this, and I look forward to seeing what happens.
I think, like, it's the same thing when we talked about technology earlier, that maybe because we grew up on technology, we have a lot more of an aversion, even though we're doing this show online right now, a lot more aversion to the stuff set up before us, you know, the digital-only future where there are no physical DVDs, where you do not own your things, the rejection of that. And I kind of feel it when it comes to streaming shows as well, that I'm actually incredibly charmed by an episodic animated series where it just has every episode is its own episode concept. And over the last couple of years, my favorite cartoons have been Stugo and Primos and Royal Crackers. Royal Crackers has more of a plot that, like, unravels, so it's not an exact example of that. But these shows that have just had really good individual episodes, and I think that is the strength of My Adventure with Superman, and I think that maybe a con of it is the actual, like, overarching story. Like, exactly like you're saying, that you hope that My Adventure with Superman manages to make their overarching story interesting by the finale. That's kind of what I thought about this season of Rick and Morty. Although I haven't disliked any of the episodes. Maybe the one where he fucks the pool cleaning machine, it wasn't that good, but it wasn't bad. Every other episode has been really, really good in season 9. And we watched the season premiere together. And maybe the odd number seasons, they have like a plot important quote unquote episode in the premiere and not in the finale. And we sort of talked about this in the server as well, because I agree that Rick and Morty is at its best when it's like Futurama, where it's sort of an infinite fun machine, and you just do different sci-fi concepts every episode, and these characters are eternally frozen in time. But I think that the appeal, the excitement of Rick and Morty early on in those early seasons is the twist that the show has continuity. Like, that was such a big deal in season 1 when it's revealed that everything they did, every mistake they made has an actual traceable impact. And if something happens to their universe, that's permanent. They have to leave and go somewhere else. So I don't mind Rick and Morty having or focusing on episodic stories because those episodic stories have been really good. But I will say that there is an episode in the most recent season that ends with Morty just losing his empathy. Like, it just gets removed from him. And it's not really brought up again. Like, I thought it was going to turn into something in the finale, because there's an episode after where he's a lot more cruel. And I assumed, like, oh, okay, maybe this is the backstory of that eye patch Morty. Maybe this is a different character development. Maybe this lack of empathy is going somewhere. And then it doesn't. And I'm not one of those people who needs, like, lore. Like, oh, man, do you have good writing and characters? Oh, we have lore and mystery. Like, that's not what I'm looking for, right? I'm not super obsessed with that. I don't need every episode to explain the universe to me. But I do think that Rick and Morty, above other adult cartoons, does have character development and those impactful character moments. And I don't think that this season finale that aired on Sunday 2 nights ago had that. It kind of just like petered out. I didn't dislike the episode, but I don't think that it was going for anything.
I disagree. First of all, in regards to the empathy episode, I think they said at some point it was temporary anyway. Like, the empathy kind of grows back anyway. Mm-hmm. And the whole point, I think, of that episode was to kind of like a role reversal where Rick is the more empathetic one and Morty is the one who has no empathy.
But
and
he like now they super overdosed on the empathy. Like, he was supposed to remove the... What was it that it's like an empathy parasite, and he doesn't remove it from his body, and then Rick says that like it completely ate every piece of empathy he had.
Yeah, but I think like he still had, like, I think it still like grows back. I think that I don't know if they said it like it. I don't know. Like, I never really thought of it as like a permanent thing. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, with the Purge episode from season 2, like that whole thing where it's like, oh, everything is temporary, nothing actually happened, it was all candy bar. But then it wasn't the candy bar. It's like, so is there going to go anywhere with this or not? And it didn't really do anything with that, which is fine with me. I didn't have a problem with that. I also think, I will say, of all the season finales, I do think this one is probably my least favorite from season 7 to now. It's not my least favorite of the show. I think it's miles better than the season 5 and season 6 finale, and the season 4 finale too. I think, and the season 3 finale.
Yeah, we had a deep
and the season 1 finale.
Yeah. I mean, that one, you didn't really expect much, though. It kind of just is like, oh, I guess we're ending the season. I do think it's interesting that these last 3 I didn't love last season, but, like, the most recent seasons have been pretty good. And every time there's a new season, which happens, like, every other year, posts always go viral. It's like, wait a minute, this new season is good. Is the show actually good again? And they say that every single season.
Right. No, but I do think this is probably the best season of the last 3 seasons, I think. Mm-hmm. There was the least bad. I don't think there was like a bad episode. Like, the last 2 seasons had bad episodes. Yeah. That goddamn Numericon episode was like, why even? I mean, I'm glad that they're doing stupid stuff like that, but I think that was not the right choice. And I am kind of secretly glad that we did not have intergalactic cable-esque episode this year. Yeah. Because I think all the episodes were really good. Mm-hmm. I think even the parts I didn't like.
8 in
What were you
particular
gonna say?
had. I think season 8 in particular had more bad episodes than like 7 or 9. Like I remember already a couple just with that season alone. And I'm not
Season
remembering.
8 had. I'm trying to remember if season 8 was. I don't know. I think I like season 8.
Just like I didn't care for
Pretty
the Rat Race
well.
one. I didn't like the James Gunn one, or the ones where they were
That one,
piloted.
I
by
think
the...
that one was my least favorite.
Yeah.
I just think there were parts of season 7 I think I disliked more. I did not like the Numericon ones.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the Quado one either. The Quado one kind of
that one, like if you don't get the
quickly.
reference, if you haven't seen the movie, it just like the joke runs thin very quickly.
I think season 8 does a lot better. I think the first episode was very funny. I think that one was a very funny one.
Mm-hmm.
I think episode 2 was a very good, like, because Space Beth is good. We just haven't seen enough of her, I think, to get like a solid, like, single adventure with her. And I'm glad that we got that. Episode 3 is like very, very good. I don't think anyone was asking about like what happened to the clones on the Citadel, but I'm glad that we got that story.
Mm-hmm.
The Easter episode, I think, was probably one of the weaker ones, but even then, I didn't think that one was that bad. Then I think, what was season 8, episode 5? Was that the fucking number one? That one, stupid fucking number
Season
episode.
8, episode 5 was Cryo Mort Rick and Morty one.
That one I did not hate either. That's the one you didn't like. That was the one with the
the Rat
wacky
Race?
races,
Yeah.
races one. I fucking hate looking up episode titles so much because this tells me nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is that like I thought that the finale was going to be a big deal because it's just called Field of Dreams. Like it doesn't have a pun in the name at all.
What the fuck was the Curixius case of? What was this one? I don't remember this one.
Yeah, I'm just looking at images. It looks like it's about Beth and Space Beth stay behind and regress or something.
Oh, on the one last time. That was season 7
8?
too. Okay,
Oh, season 7? Oh,
had,
damn.
Season 7 had that. It had the fucking quad episode.
Mm-hmm. I just think that the fear hole just like ups everything. I think that
the fear hole is one of my favorite
really
episodes
bad
of the entire
and really
show.
good, and 8 was just kind of. I think 8 was boring to me, and that's why I didn't. That's a sin
Really?
I cannot forgive. I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
What was Ricker Than Fiction? I actually don't remember what that one was.
Isn't that the fucking James Gunn one?
Oh yes, okay, that one I didn't like, but
Yeah.
I think I'd still prefer that one
I
over
think the James Gunn episode just really
the
soured the
Numerican one?
season and pissed me off so much.
Really,
But-
I think that one was bad, but I think that one was easily the worst.
For me, it was like
I
embarrassing.
really liked the Jerry episode that season. The Jerry
Yeah.
episode was another really good one. But then I also thought that the Morty Jr. one was just okay. I just thought that one was just okay. And then I think it had a really good finale.
Yeah. I think I was just so embarrassed about the James Gunn one because it's a director I like for a show I like, and I was watching it with someone who doesn't watch the show, and I'm like, no, I promise it's normally better than this.
I didn't like that one, but I think that was the only one that I vehemently disliked. Whereas in season 7, I think I just disliked the Numericon one that much more. And I think there were ones that I just think I did not like to a lesser degree, but I just didn't like the Quat one.
Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest fan of the premiere. I thought it was kind of good, but I also thought like
8 or 9.
7. Season 7.
Yeah.
That's the one where they all like hang out with Hugh Jackman.
Mm-hmm. I remember liking it at the time. I think because I didn't like season 6, I was like, oh shit, we're so back. But the interesting thing is that like it was after season 3 that it got renewed through season 10, right? That was the big announcement.
Yes, or during season 3, I forget.
Yeah, so the original secondary order was through season 10. Since then, it's been renewed for an additional 11th and 12th season. But I don't know if they had like a big overarching plan, but you have to think that maybe if you're going off the interpretation that season 10 is already planned out, which I'm not certain it is, they could just
Oh,
easily
it 100% is.
Oh, it
because I
is?
know how their like writing thing is. They're already like pretty deep into storyboards and animation with season 10.
Okay. So is there a world where it's like a Futurama situation and we get a finale for season 10 that sort of acts as a finale that they thought that was going to end the show?
That I don't know, because I don't know how deep into production they knew about the season pickups compared to when we knew. That's the one thing it's hard to say.
I gotta say though, I mean, I Superman airs on Saturday, so I just watch it on Sunday. But these Adult Swim Sundays are always really fun. I'm glad that they've kept up with it. I feel like they're the only channel that actually, outside of Fox, that actually has like a programming block and like a week they stick to. Last year when it was like Haha You Clowns and Smiling Friends, and then a couple years back before it was like Royal Crackers and what was it? And Common Side Effects. Like all those Sundays were so fun. But
Well, no, that was last year. Common Side Effects was last year.
I know, that's what I'm
'Cause
saying.
I remember,
like even before that,
last
it would, like,
year we
stretch
had
back.
that block that was Common, and then we had YOLO, and then we had Oh My God,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was. But this recent Sunday had the Rick and Morty season 9 finale immediately lead into the episode premiere of President Curtis, which is it the second Rick and Morty spinoff?
Do you count the anime as a spinoff?
I do.
Then yes.
I mean, that shit came out, nobody cared, it ended, kind of just went off like a wet fart. President Curtis both looks... It was. I'll say this, the episode wasn't bad, but it did feel like Rick and Morty. In a good way, but... I don't know how I feel. Do I want it to be more Rick and Morty, or do I want it to be like its own distinct thing? Maybe it'll distinct itself more as it goes on, but I thought like the episode was fine. I don't.
Yeah, it wasn't
I can't
bad,
imagine.
it was whatever.
I can't imagine being a fan of it and not being a fan of Rick and Morty.
I mean, we already are getting a season 2. They greenlit season 2.
Yeah, I mean they lost Smiling
So-
Friends, so they're like they of course they would do that. They
We
gotta
gotta
get
double
everything in
down
there.
on this. We gotta
Yeah.
do it. You know what? The other thing is they probably were like, we have to have a Rick and Morty show that we can get next day on Max, because
Yeah.
we can't do this until fucking season 11 of Rick and Morty. Like we won't
wait,
be able
why
to
is
do
that?
this. Because I think with the original pickup, that was how it worked with Hulu.
Oh, there's like a contract. I see.
That's
Okay.
why we still don't have next day. Although I will say it's gotten a lot better. Like I think by episode 4 of this season, episode 1 was added, whereas like you had to wait months for just one episode to be added.
So yeah, did you watch President Curtis?
I did. Like I said, I think it was fine.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't. I love Keith David. I just don't think that there was enough there to make this. If it was between this and More Solar Opposites, I would choose More Solar Opposites in a heartbeat.
Right. Well, like this, I didn't actually look into it because I remember we checked IMDb before the episode aired, and there was no info because obviously the episode hadn't aired yet. But is this also like a Dan Harmon and Rick and Morty team joint, or is this like an entirely different crew? No, it was written by Dan Harmon, Haley Daniels, and there's like a lack of chemistry amongst the characters. It is funny that of the main 3, that 2 of them are fucking Has Been Hotel cast members, and then there's also just Jim Rash in there.
And Jim Rash is always great, basically. So
Yeah.
I'd never complain about that. So that is
yeah,
okay
I guess
with
this
me.
is just more Rick and Morty, which is like fine. I guess this is the equivalent of having like a 20 episode season instead of a 10 episode season. And it makes sense for it to take the place of Rick and Morty each Sunday. And I will continue to watch it each Sunday, but unless there's a really good episode of it, I don't think I would say I'm a fan of President Curtis per se. I think just like for Adult Swim, I don't mesh with the idea of like IP centric spinoffs just because like I didn't care much for Bird Girl. I much prefer
I am so salty about Bird Girl. I have a whole fucking manifesto about my
Right.
disdain towards Bird Girl, but that will be saved for another time.
Man, I just love Adult Swim. Every time I come up to September for the anniversary, I remember every time, and I get filled with such glee. But this has been a really good... I mean, all of these things back to back. I said earlier that I think that this has been a really good year for movies, but not a great year for shows. I think Ted Season 2 was really great. But I don't
It was.
compared to last year with rehearsal, severance, and chair company, and also like haha you clowns and most of Smiling Friends. Like I think that these shows have had really good episodes and seasons, but I don't think it's reached that level. Like there were weeks on the show where every new episode of The Rehearsal and Severance we were like, "Holy shit, did you see what happened?" And I don't think there's been a show like that this year yet.
No, there really hasn't, which is kind of like, I'm trying to even think, was there anything like new that really broke out in regards to shows? And I can't think of anything off the
No,
top
I
of
mean
my
I've
head.
been making myself watch The Bear, but it's kind of just depressing now. Like not a lot
No, but even
happens
then,
in
that's
it.
like season 4. I kind of
Yeah,
meant
it's
like
just
a
the final
show
fifth
that kind
season,
of
and it
like,
takes place over one night, which is a really weird decision for one season. I guess I'm excited to see because like
I
I don't
don't
think
know.
Disney has anything in the pipeline right now, but like the last 2 years, Primos and Stugo were really fun, and I don't know if they like have anything else upcoming that isn't like an IP thing.
Don't know. I mean, I know there's a new seasons of like Big City Greens and Kif coming and that kind of stuff. There's obviously Phineas and Ferb. The Phineas and Ferb machine is still running.
Right.
Um, but I don't know. I
That
think that
Chibi
might.
verse.
Oh yeah, the one episode a month Chibi verse.
Right.
I can't even be excited about Steve Dildarian's new show because, goddamn, I really wanted to be, and then all the fucking backgrounds are AI, and it bothers me
Right.
so much.
It's really upsetting with all these shows. Well, Cartoon Network has like a show, right? Like after that, it's just done. Don't they have something coming out? Because everything else that was going
Well,
to air on
isn't
Cartoon Network.
Lost Tapes Cartoon Network?
I mean, it airs. I mean, yes, it airs on Cartoon Network. Yeah, but we saw an ad for like something. I forget what it was. It was like, it starts with IY.
Oh,
but I don't remember-
Ianu.
Yeah, Iyanu. Yeah, what is that? Because apparently it's
I
been
don't
happening
know.
in the
I've never seen
background. Yeah, like we looked it up and I was like, oh, is this a new show? And then one of the patrons was like, oh no, this is the second movie for a 3-season show. I'm like, holy shit, did I miss the entire thing? What happened? But I think as far as, I wouldn't even call this a week of entertainment. We have been off and on for July, but I can say in August I will get back to a regular stream schedule. I think we need to really nail down when this show is going to be moving forward. We'll figure it out, but we will be hopefully back to a weekly format. We're just really catching up for the month of July. And I got to be honest, we decided to talk about this one because it's just the two of us, but also video games, not a whole lot going on. I don't have a whole lot to say about Splatoon Raiders right now. Normally,
Right.
in the end of the show, we do 2 segments back to back where we redux a character from the Smash Bros. Roster and change up their moveset. But I think for Luigi, well, one, I didn't have enough time to put it together, so I think we saved that anyway. I was really worried that when I was putting the roster together that, like, today was going to be the nest day, and I'm like, oh, we need Switchy for this. There's no way we can do that. But I think we just maybe end this pod by watching one of the many Nintendo Directs we've been watching in order. How does that sound?
I did want to do that, but I also wanted to hear also your opinion before we get to that.
Sure.
Because we have now seen footage for it, and we have a date, and it's coming. And I want to know what's your opinion on this upcoming Robot Chicken special?
I won't even call it love-hate relationship because I feel like you can love something without thinking it's good, maybe is the rule. That, like, I don't think I would bill myself as a fan of Robot Chicken. I don't think that I would say Robot Chicken is a good show. But I grew up with it, and Robot Chicken is a very important show to me. And I know we just talked about all these IP-centric spin-offs and crossovers and whatever, and we sort of live in IP hell where only stuff we know is getting greenlit. But I do like a little anniversary special. I really liked the Jellystone special, the Crisis on Infinite Mirths, and I like that they're doing it for Adult Swim. And I think if they intend to keep Robot Chicken around, that the, like, 30-minute special format once a year fits it a lot better than like a new season of 10, 11-minute episodes every other year.
Right.
Because of a sketch comedy show like that, you have to reference modern stuff. You have to say, like, oh, this new toy, this new movie, or whatever. And I really don't think that plays to their strengths anymore. I do think that most people who do remember Robot Chicken and talk about what they like about it, talk about the specials, the DC special, the Star Wars specials specifically. I think they're really good for their Star Wars specials. We also didn't talk about it, but apparently there's going to be a very special screening of the lost episodes of Star Wars Detours.
Ooh, yes, I look
And
forward to that.
we're never going to
Hopefully.
get to see it. But I need someone, ooh, something happened upstairs. I need there to be some kind of like National Treasure-esque heist. I need someone to get that copy of Star Wars Detours. I need to see it. But I'm excited. Obviously, I love Adult Swim, and I am preparing something for its anniversary, for its 25th anniversary. And then next year... Wait, no, is it 30th? I think it's 30th, right?
It's 25th.
Yeah,
I
20th.
thought.
Right, of course. Yeah, because 2001, sorry. And then Cartoon Network will be its 30th anniversary next year. It is, I will say, in reference to Robot Chicken, it being an Adult Swim special for the Adult Swim's anniversary makes sense. Them doing a Cartoon Network anniversary, that's fun, but I think it's emblematic of the fact that Cartoon Network doesn't have its own stuff anymore. And in the future, Cartoon Network is just going to exist as a nostalgia act on Adult Swim.
Right. I think it's bittersweet. I am looking forward to the Adult Swim special. That being said, Andy Merrill already said he was not asked to be back for it, so that is a
Strange.
little bit of a souring thing.
Yeah.
I know Brack is in it. We know Brack's in it.
Oh, maybe he just doesn't talk?
Maybe. I don't know. I do
Robot
know.
Chicken specifically has very weird... I think it's because I talked about this in the video that it's Seth Green's show, so Seth Green has like a preference. Like last year for its anniversary special, they had a Scooby-Doo sketch, but instead of Frank Welker, they had Fred played by Freddie Prinze Jr. And Freddie Prinze Jr. hasn't played Fred
really
in
funny.
like a decade. But it's just because, you know, that's the Seth Green Scooby-Doo, so of course he's going to do that, as opposed to the actual voice actor, because they've had Frank Welker on the show before. I think they're just like specific interpretations that are very strange, because we know that Zach Hadel is in it, voicing Charlie.
We know Zach's in it. We know all the Aqua Teen cast is back.
Yeah.
We know that Brendan Small and Tommy Blanchard are back.
Jackson Public?
We know.
I know that both of them do the voices of the...
well, we know for sure Pat Warburton's back.
Right.
That's definitely Patrick.
Well, no, but there's a part in the
we
trailer where the henchmen are talking to each other.
Yes, that is definitely them. I'm pretty sure Tim and Eric are both back.
Oh, that's fun. I will say that their
definitely. I'm so glad Joe Pera's back.
Yeah,
I love Joe Pera.
Their doll
I'm so glad
version
that he's
of
free.
Oral looks really weird, but I guess it has to. Like, they can't just use
It
the
kinda
Oral
does.
model. Yeah.
It kind of does.
I'm excited.
And Aaron McGruder's back too for
Right.
Black
I mean, as
Jesus.
someone who loves Adult Swim, and I'll say I love Robot Chicken. I don't think it's good, but, you know, it's clearly an important part of my life.
I don't think that's Brad Neely unless his voice has gotten really bad over the last few years, which is upsetting. Because
I
damn,
think that
if the
there's-
Brad Neely video won, that would have been quite the.
That's true. The big
thing to
bracket.
add.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, man. My idea for this summer, June, July, August, this trilogy was gonna be like the Nudes era video, and it still is. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I just cover 2008 in this trilogy. And where I'm at right now, I think after this trilogy, I just need to be perpetually working on it and release installments when they're done. I think I might be done covering the Nudes era in like 3 years' time, if even that.
Oh
like,
my God.
I think I'm not done with the summer of 2008. Like I think I might be stuck here for a while. So I don't know when the next time I'm going to do a Patreon bracket, but it is nice to have something after I finish the Smash Ultimate story to like something substantial to sink my teeth into, to just have the storyline go on. I sort of described that final Smash Bros. Video as like my Avengers Endgame, where stuff happens after it and, you know, there's still quality in it. I'm not trying to scare anyone off, but like that is sort of the pseudo end of that original story. And now we're in the second arc or something. And speaking of, we could save it for the end, but you're still working on that same video, that same damned video.
I am. Yes, it has been fucking forever, and I'm hoping to have it done very soon. But I am currently in the process of moving soon, so things have very much taken a back seat. There's a lot going on, so I'm trying to get this stuff done as well. But there's just so much happening. It'll come out before 2030 for sure.
Right. Well, 100%. Hey, if you want to release it September 2nd for Adult Swim's anniversry, that's what I'm planning for my Adult Swim related video. Gonna make a whole day out of it. I do like that. I know that. Listen, like I know that when people do group channels or like branded groups or whatever, they're always multi-channel schemes and they always just take AdSense away from people. But I like the idea of everyone planning their video release dates to coincide with each other, because like sometimes we have ours come out the same day and they like lead into each other, and I think that's really fun. I like doing the little block bumper where it's like, oh, and up next,
I do enjoy that. Yeah,
we got to get more people in on that, but I understand why it's a lot harder to get over. But since we're coming up on end here, I will say that I'm hoping to finish this July video tonight, so I'm gonna be done with this pod and then I'm gonna lock in. We are going to end with this Direct. Yeah. Interesting, this Nintendo Direct Mini is 22 minutes, and then the full Nintendo Direct after it, a month after, is only 5 minutes longer. So I don't know what makes this a Direct Mini, but this is Nintendo Direct Mini, July 18th, 2013. Man, that was like 13 years ago in some days. Oh, Big Bill.
Billy boy.
Does he have dye in his hair?
I don't know.
I'm used to him being gray, I think.
Oh, is this Animal Crossing?
I think so. Is that what makes it a mini?
Hello, everyone.
I mean, it played the sound effect when you shook the tree.
This Nintendo Direct Mini. Today, we're going to provide you.
At first, I thought it was Yoshi because I'm like, that's the fruit from Yoshi.
Oh, right.
I'm joining you today from a setting that we thought was appropriate for two.
I'm joining you from a secure location where you won't be able to find me.
I'll talk about later. And Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Is it just those two games?
The game has been out for a little more than a month, and the response from fans has been amazing. So where we left off in the last Direct was... I'm thrilled to see so many people enjoying the game so much, and I'd like to personally thank you all for your support and your enthusiasm. I have to say, I am quite happy with how my town
Okay, so it's been a month between June and July.
As you can see,
let me see what came out for Nintendo between June and July.
And Majora's Mask, so I think that basically makes me all powerful. Knowing how much fun it is to share your Animal Crossing life, I hope you're all taking advantage of Nintendo 3DS Image Share. It's very easy to use.
Did you take advantage of Nintendo 3DS Image Share?
You can hold down
the QR codes. Yeah. It's a shame they don't do that anymore.
Game screen. That picture gets saved to your SD card. And when you access the Nintendo 3DS Image Share website through your Nintendo 3DS browser, you can upload those pictures directly to your social media accounts like Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr.
Damn, the big three.
Nintendo 3DS Image Share works with
Animal Crossing
New Leaf and other games that let you save screens to your SD card, including Art Academy Lessons for Everyone, Style Savvy Trendsetters,
for the
and Spirit
Wii
Camera.
U in North
We've added
America
it to the favorites list on the Nintendo 3DS browser,
and
we're also going to be sending out a notification with a direct link to the site to make it easier for everyone to use.
I wonder if they're going to talk about it.
It's a great way to share your creativity with all your friends. Speaking of sharing, Animal Crossing New Leaf also lets players share their houses with other fans via Street Pass.
Fans?
We want to make this feature as fun and as easy as possible.
I'm the
as
fan.
Easy as getting your morning coffee.
Part of this, Bill?
Fans of Animal Crossing or fans of the Bill? Are you a friend of Bill?
As you may know, Nintendo 3DS owners can visit the Nintendo Zone location to connect their systems to the internet for online play, Nintendo eShop shopping, or just to check for Spot Pass data or system updates.
Anything came out.
There are more than 29,000 Nintendo Zone locations across North America.
I mean, Tomodachi Life came out in Japan, but I didn't know it came out a year later in America. I guess it requires more translation,
major U.S. airports, and
it does. And I also think it's also like
found at places like Starbucks, McDonald's, Barnes & Noble,
it was more of a gamble for them with Tomodachi.
In a few weeks, how would they have
you'll
be able to go to any Nintendo
the original
Zone
Tomodachi collection was a Japanese
exclusive with other Nintendo 3DS owners.
What about the eShop?
Even if they aren't there when you are.
Where's Dylan's Rolling Western, Bill?
We already got it in April. You greedy fans, we already got it.
We need more. Person to visit that location.
We should get one a month.
And the next
they should update it regularly.
We should get one every year a la Deltarune.
It's sort of like a street
Whoa,
pass
chapters
relay,
of Dylan. I earnestly do like the chapter system. I think more series should do it. Okay, so all that happened between directs was the release of Game & Wario.
You'll be able to get your street pass data for all your street pass games at once.
Unless there were any DS games I didn't hear about.
Going back to games like Super Mario 3D
It's peak gaming hours.
Pushmo.
Oh my god, I'm finally back in the BHultra stream. My power been out since
Visit
the big
the Nintendo
1000.
3DS website.
Yeah, I'm surprised ours hasn't gone out yet.
Locations
Me and Dan within the same
so
house. Our big content house that extends upwards and outwards.
Part of your daily routine.
Well, we are just stealing. And I know that it steals AdSense, but I really like the idea of getting a bunch of people together and doing like basically an Adult Swim-esque broadcast where like it's a stream of people's videos, but then there's like bumpers between them. I wish there's a way for everyone to like read that, you know?
Throughout the stage, you can power.
I think it's what make bumpers is what I'm saying.
I'm a little annoyed that the collab feature doesn't
and try to cross-pollinate them.
Split the funds or allow you to split the funds somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that'd be then the perfect feature.
You can also keep a journal and decorate your garden.
I mean, the only downside of the collab feature is that it just shows up in your feed, but if it's like posthumously after the fact, I don't think it will.
Warrior's Way is a game of medieval conquest.
Yeah, I don't think it will either.
And your army
see, I don't remember any of
the people you have had street pass
games.
With. Your goal is simple.
Carl's army.
Collect more troops and battle other warlords to try to take over the world.
Take over the world.
I blinked away for like a minute. This is a very weird
in this game,
Animal
we'll be
Crossing.
Designing and exploring.
Yeah, but what is this? I've never seen this. Is this like a specific Street Pass thing?
By gathering pieces from the players.
I don't remember this at all.
There's some depth to this game too, as the rooms are different colors. And aligning pieces of different colors will let you fight ghosts. While aligning pieces of the same color.
Okay, Luigi's Mansion.
Watching a Nintendo Direct with my arms crossed, and every time they say something about a game, I'm like, okay, who cares?
To the top of the mansion.
Yeah, whatever.
Not only do these games
where's Netflix,
Nintendo ways to enjoy
whatever.
With other players,
I don't even like this. I don't care.
But completing accomplishments in these new games will earn you tickets, which can be redeemed in Street Pass Me Plaza for new hats and outfits, like this one.
That's barely a hat.
That is not a hat.
That's an image. Weak stream streak. Well, that means you were here for stream 1000, 1001, and 1002.
$4.99 each.
Our soft reboot. We're rebooting the universe of BHultra Live.
From the
in my image.
Within Street Pass Me Plaza.
Oh, no, you have to pay for these. Okay, that's why I've never seen them.
Please take a look at this.
Because I would never pay for Street Pass.
Makes sense.
All right, this is coming out soon. Just if you didn't know.
You're Luigi, baby.
Hello, Mark. This was the final, well, prior to Brothership, this was the final original Mario, and well, no, sorry, the Paper Mario one's after this. No.
I think it's after this one. Yeah. This game is also not my favorite.
I've never
I have
played
issues
it.
with this one. This is one of the most agonizing beginning of the game ever. The tutorial is very, very bad.
And that's nuts because Brothership has the same issue.
It does, but I think it has to a lesser extent, but not by much.
I'm gonna go all the way down there. I think there's certain games that translate it well. I really... Please turn the video volume. Okay, yeah, sorry. Wanted to be able for us to hear it. We're back on top. That, you know, I don't want to be framed as the anime bad guy again, but I prefer the design of older Fire Emblem games as opposed to new ones, because I think that the pixel art for the GBA is really charming. And I think that I can extend that to Mario and Luigi a little bit. Although I do like the specific art style of the Mario and Luigi games. It's poor marketing that this individual series is just called Mario and Luigi because it is its own distinct form of RPG. But I think like maybe just because I grew up with like Super Mario Bros. Z, seeing it not in pixel art is very off-putting to me for some reason.
We've just added a very special Luigi-themed puzzle panel to the puzzle swap activity.
Oh yeah, we are still in the year of Luigi, huh?
Good luck collecting all the pieces.
It's weird because that last the E3 Direct was pretty good. I thought that this year was going to be a lot more bleak. Oh shit! It's a shame Switchy isn't here to see this.
On July 16th.
Damn. Okay, forget it. Let's pause everything and cancel it.
Right.
We'll do it next week.
Let them know that Shin Megami Tensei 4 is coming out.
And Fire Emblem Awakening to your Club Nintendo account by August 31st.
Wow. It's just saying, it's like when you say your dog's, all your dog's favorite words is they're wagging their tail.
$30 credit in your eShop account. It's that easy.
$30. That means I could buy all those. Imagine how many Street Pass games I could buy. YouTube or Twitch chat says it's crazy seeing 3DS games at all to me because I had a 3DS but only ever used it for Face Raiders. That's nuts. I can't agree with that at all.
Face Raiders, that's awesome.
That's the only game you played?
There's some of you.
There was a period of time when I had my 360, because I had like a handful of games, but the console just had the demo of Cloning Clyde on it, which just like has you play the first level, and I never played past that. I just played the demo of Cloning Clyde over and over again.
The only thing I remember, there was like a series of free Xbox 360 games, and one of them was like Doritos Run or something. Doritos Crash Course.
Yeah, Doritos
you remember
Crash
that?
Course.
Doritos Crash Course. That was crazy. I love that. We're never gonna get like another thing like that again.
The world you remember no longer exists.
And Mario Party for Nintendo 3DS in November.
This is a big year.
Let's switch gears and talk about Wii U.
Also, I guess at this point it was still just called Mario Party for the Nintendo 3DS. There's a lot of content
on the way for Wii U, and that all starts on August 4th with Pikmin 3.
Okay.
I literally can't stop playing Bingo Battle. That
is really funny.
I cannot tear myself away.
I literally can. This is a call for help.
I've been my wife left me. She said I gotta stop playing Bingo Battle.
But I literally cannot.
My lame kid wants me to hang out, but I'm too busy playing Bingo Battle. Doesn't he understand? I literally cannot tear myself away from Bingo Battle.
To try to overwhelm my opponent with numbers.
I am physically incapable of not playing Bingo.
The camera
Battle.
pans down, it's seared to his hands.
As many items as quickly as possible. Or I may lie in wait as an opponent defeats an enemy, only to rush in and steal the prize.
I mean, yeah, he sounds excited about it. I'll give him that.
Not only are there 12 different stages unique to Bingo Battle, but each of those stages.
I mean, surely there's a campaign to this game, Bill.
And you'll need to use different strategies on each variation.
There's only so much left. There's only so many.
It's the kind of game where every match
is actually
much
many.
And win or lose, you instantly.
And he's still doomed to play it to this day.
But the fun doesn't end with Bingo Battle.
What?
And neither will the competition.
I'm gonna turn myself
When you connect your system to the internet, you'll be able to compare your scores with other players around the world in both single-player and co-op mission mode. And you'll be able to compare your completion times and your total Pikmin grown.
I play Bingo Battle all day, every day.
The unique gameplay of Pikmin with these
also, this is a nut shirt. Obey the captain.
Will keep you playing for a very long time.
Do you think it was required uniform for everyone who worked at Nintendo to wear like a graphic tee and then a waistcoat
which we
over
released
it?
details on just this past week?
Oh, for sure. Are you kidding me?
See that Pikmin 3 is a can't miss.
If you don't show up to an interview like that, I mean, you might as well just
only play it.
Forget it.
You don't see internet reviewers wearing suits anymore.
If you have not yet watched Mr. Miyamoto's E3 developer interview about
you really
Pikmin 3,
don't.
I hope you'll
take the time to do so. He's Miyamoto because he's got a
It's a rare chance to
we used to go to the movies and on airplanes in suits.
We used to smoke next to the pilot. They used to let you go in the cockpit.
In the mission mode in Pikmin 3.
We could bring knives on planes.
On August 4th.
It's interesting that we didn't talk about Minions and Monsters because I haven't seen any of it.
Almost can't describe this.
It's tough to convince other people to go see the movie. That you'd think they would want to replicate the trend of the last movie where people were showing up in suits and stuff, like just from a Barbenheimer standpoint, to try and force that. I'm surprised they haven't. No, instead the movie's being sold.
I forgot I was gonna tell you.
You
gotta see the invite. It's very good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I know. We have the server with everyone, and I saw like a big sea of redacted text, and I'm really interested in what it says.
It's so good. It's not my favorite movie of the year, but it's definitely like top 5, maybe top 3.
If I can get everything done tonight, we'll see. Maybe I have an open day the next couple days.
Oh, and I finally watched Backrooms too.
What'd you think?
I thought it was okay. I think I was the opposite of you, where you kind of went in with negative feelings, but you came out positive, and I went in with positive feelings, and I came out not really caring.
No time for breaks.
Yeah.
Then we're just gonna
I mean, I guess it just turned around because I thought it was gonna be way worse. But hey, hold on to that feeling when this Portal movie comes out.
Portal, I have way more of a connection to, so that one I'm very nervous about.
I do want to say, like, I wouldn't say I'm a Backrooms fan, but I definitely have, like, for someone who's so opinionated, I actually haven't, like, seen his series. I just don't like. I don't like when there's monsters in there. I think it's less scary, but I'm glad. I think the movie contextualized it.
The Wonderful. See, if this was a Mad skit, it would be The Wonderful 101 Dalmatians.
Wow. There was one I thought of the other day. Then I'm like, man, if Mad was still doing stuff, you could have this one for free. But I don't remember what it was, so it couldn't have been worthwhile.
They will bow before me, like all the rest.
They would have done a Homer's Odyssey.
Unite up!
Not anymore, it's not.
The Wonderful 101 is developed by the talented crew.
To which that says even the original 4chan post had monsters.
It would be
different.
Obviously they would take Obsession and do a Roblox crossover, and it would be Obby Session.
You can look forward to more information about the Wonderful
That sucks,
101
but you're right.
in an upcoming
No, the original 4chan post implies that there is something else down there. There's nothing explicit about it. It's more the feeling of you being stuck down there without anyone else, and you hear something.
Followed by a series of
games because that's the quote, right? It's like because you know for sure that they've heard
games
you.
like The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker HD, We Party You.
I mean,
Sonic Lost World from Sega. Disney's Planes from Disney.
Wow, how many of these games are still?
The funny thing about Mad is that they just ran out of ideas. Like no one knows what Poseidon Adventures are.
You know
that
what's
are watching that
weird
that
is
show.
that obviously, like I've been watching it for the Patreon show weekly Monday nights.
The Wii U gamepad offers several
that you're right.
features
Like from a
and many
TV
multi-platform
show and
titles.
movie standpoint,
Games like
they
Rayman
don't really
Legends,
seem to understand what they're
Just Dance
parodying,
2014,
but they have a weird
Watch Dogs,
finger on the pulse of the
Assassin's
internet.
Creed 4
I think
Black
because they
Flag
can
from
turn the
Ubisoft.
show around so fast,
Batman Arkham
they're actually
Origins
like
from Warner
pretty
Brothers Interactive
attuned to the
Entertainment.
memes of the time,
Skylanders
like more so
Swap
than
Force
any
from
other show.
Activision.
Obviously, the infamous
Disney
story
Infinity
or the infamous
from
moment
Disney
where fucking
Interactive.
Pedo Bear shows
Each
up in the
used the Wii U
Grey's Anime
gamepad
sketch,
in unique ways
but.
and
There's
add
little
new
things
elements
like
to the
they have a
gameplay.
sketch about Leonardo DiCaprio and he's
games I
doing the
mentioned,
walking meme,
as well as the
and then
titles you see
they
here,
have
will
fuck.
all
Why do
be
I always
available
blank on his name?
this
The
year.
Brutalist. They do the
Additionally,
Adrian Brody.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they
partners
do the
continue
Adrian
to
Brody
bring
fucking. They do
innovative
Brody
and fun
Quest parody.
visual
Like they
creations
there's
to the
other
Nintendo
little
eShop.
memes like that
There are
that
3
were
great titles
popular
launching over the
in
next few
2011.
weeks that you're
That it's
definitely
incredibly
going to
like
want to check
no
out.
other show is doing it like that.
The first
Every
is
other
Cloud
cartoon.
No, you're not.
Oh
you're,
shit!
Fuck yes. Peak game
Platformer
alert.
designed with a fully random
This game is
level
great. And
I'm
the
glad
fact
that the
it's
last
listed
direct reminded us of
modern
this because I
recently.
genuinely forgot
Never
about this
seen
game
it.
until that moment.
I love
Difficulty
Cloudberry
levels
Kingdom
match
so
any
much.
need
It is so
and
good.
adapt to the physics
Um,
of each playable character.
No, and I think
Very key launches on
it was
August
good that they had
1st.
that really good turnaround,
Our
but
friends
also
at
like by the time
Capcom
season 4 rolled
are one of
around,
the
it was
most
clear that they just
cherished
had no
eight
more
games of all
ideas.
time.
Like I said, like Poop Side
DuckTales
Adventures was
to
just
Wii
like,
U, with
oh my god,
DuckTales
peak game again.
remastered.
Hello.
Right. Yeah, to be fair, I haven't gotten to season
very-
4 yet, and maybe never will. We'll see.
Original Disney character voices
The fact that this has not been ported to modern consoles is a
and
travesty.
richly painted
Oh,
level
original
backgrounds
Disney.
from
Yeah, because this is
classic cartoon
pre-reboot, so I guess they
TV
would have had to
series.
use the actual
Scrooge
voices.
McDuck
Did they
and
use the
Family
actual voices?
Yeah, this
from
had
the...
all
Never
the voice
before.
actors. Yeah, this I think this was
Wow.
Alan Young's.
DuckTales
God, I want to say it was his last
remastered
role, but he
on
might have been the
August
Rudis shorts for a little bit.
That's nuts.
Finally,
I forgot about that
a
too.
new party game from Napnog Games
From
called
who?
Spin
Who?
the Bottle, Bumpy's
Oh.
Party. Between 2 and
I like
8
how it was
players
peak,
sit
and then
around the
what the
gamepad
hell?
And dance, spin, grab.
Man, they stole
jump,
this for 1-2
hide,
switch. Huh?
pump,
I was gonna say this is
pass,
just
and
prototype 1-2
squeeze their way
switch.
Yeah.
through a
Also,
series
doesn't
of
need to be a
fun
Wii U
mini-games.
game.
Fortunately,
But to be fair, there's a lot of
or
Wii U
maybe
games that could have just been a
unfortunately,
Wii game.
there is no kissing required.
Boo! I like how he
Bumpy's
smirks.
Party,
Boo.
Which is in August.
Bill, what if I want to kiss you, Bill?
As many
Yeah,
of you
that's
know,
why he smirked and his
we
eye
tried
twinkles a
something
little
very
bit.
different at E3 this year.
Right?
We brought 4 Wii U demos to more than 100 Best Buy stores so that our fans could participate directly in the E3
They still do
experience.
this, right? For the most part.
Fans across the
Sometimes
US
there's
and
demo
Canada
kiosks.
got a
I
first
will say
look at Donkey
also,
Kong
you
Country
know,
Tropical
if we're
Freeze,
covering everything
Mario
that
Kart
happened in
8,
between installments of
Super
Switch to
Mario
Ultra, it has
3D
been 2
World,
weeks.
and The Legend of Zelda: The
You
Wind
can
Waker
now
HD.
sign up for
The
a
participation we saw and the
global
feedback we've received of the program has
test
been
online
overwhelming.
beta
I want to give
for
a
the
big
Dust
thank you to the
Bloods.
thousands of
And
fans
then
that
I
came
think the
out,
beta
waited
happens in
line,
August
and
or
experienced our
September.
games.
And I
If
looked
you weren't
into
able to
it, and I
participate,
wanted to sign
or
up,
if you're just hungry
but
for a
there's
little
also
more,
like a legal
then you may
agreement when
wanna
you
clear your
sign up that
weekend.
you can't
As Reggie announced
share
last
any
week, we're
information
bringing
about
Pikmin
it,
3
like
to more than
footage or anything.
200 GameStop
So I'm just gonna,
locations in the US and
I'll just
Canada
wait. I think
this Saturday
that
and
I
Sunday.
really gained nothing from doing
That's
that
right.
then.
In just 2 days, you'll be able to
But hey,
visit a
maybe we'll see the
GameStop
Dust
near
Bloods
you
in this
and
year.
see how the Pikmin story
Maybe
continues
that could be
with
like their
Pikmin 3.
Halloween game.
Fans who visit any GameStop location this weekend and
Any
pre-purchase
GameStop?
a digital version of Pikmin 3 will have access to
Fuck,
the
my
game
GameStop
for
closed.
its
This isn't gonna work.
one
Yeah, what's
full
gonna
day
happen to them?
for
Another big announcement.
For
Boop,
more
boop,
details
breaking
on
news
this
from the
program
previous 2
and to
weeks.
find
You
the
can now
nearest
order
participating
GameStop through
GameStop,
Uber Eats.
Please visit GameStop.com.
If you don't
Oh,
want to
goody.
go to the
Finish.
GameStop, you
Please
could
take a
just
look
have
at
them
this.
deliver games if they even have it. Or more realistically, if you want them to deliver Funko Pops to your. Oh shit, dude!
Oh, is
Switchy's
this- is
gonna
this-
be
this
pissed.
one? Is this one? Oh,
That's
fuck.
fucking nuts.
I didn't think it was this one.
Oh
my
no.
god.
This is the direct
That's
mini.
terrible.
What happens in the
That's not
proper
fair.
direct?
That's not fair.
Maybe this is why
That's
Switchy
not
wasn't
fair.
here today. He didn't want to have to see it. The war against Gygus. Earthbound 2 words.
Dude, when I hear this song, all I hear is the fucking Undertale song. Every time.
Megalomania.
Yeah,
Sign up for Dust
yeah,
Bloods. If I don't
Megalo.
make it in thousands of corpses, will lay in wake of the eternal rage. Well, you know, hopefully we'll be able to play Dust Bloods in 2 or 3 years. You never know.
It's kind of crazy that they went this hard for a trailer for a game that, like...
Well, it had never been re-released. It wasn't on WiiWare.
You're right, it had never been re-released. It's still kind of crazy that, like...
Yeah.
That they went this hard.
Yeah, because they've never done this again. Like, they've done trailers
I
for
forget,
NSO,
did they
but
announce
never...
beginnings right after this, or was that a different day?
I think that's 2015.
Oh, that was 15? Okay.
What's weird is that I've been in a little bit of like an Earthbound fucking rabbit hole as of late. Again, I'm a LARPer. I haven't played the game, but I've been watching like icebergs. I've just been like immersing myself in Earthbound the last like weeks or so. So this is actually nuts to see this here. I did not expect that. I should play this game, though.
I love this game, but it also reminds me how much I hate the Wii U emulation, because this game...
Oh, is this like a bad
looks
conversion
so bad
of
on
it?
Wii U. It looks so bad on Wii U.
Is it
Look
supposed to be
how-
more vibrant?
It's supposed to be way more vibrant.
Okay. I think some emulators don't have enough of the, like, you know, a lot of them go into the CRT filter, specifically the Nintendo ones. I think that every emulator should have that, really, because it's quality of life change. But I think that some that, like, take it directly from the code, it sometimes looks too saturated in a way that was definitely not intended. And I think a lot of
I
NES
don't
games are
disagree,
kind of
but I
just
think they
dark.
overcorrected.
Yeah.
They definitely overcorrected with this one.
I remember the Wii ones were pretty dark, too. But obviously,
I think
this game
Wii U was
wasn't on
actually
the Wii.
worse. I think Wii U
Wow.
actually handled it worse.
Yeah,
I'm
I guess
glad
it is only
that
on the Wii U
Switch
Virtual
Mini
Console,
did it.
huh? What a way to end
Wait,
this
that's how they
fucking
ended it?
direct
That's
mini.
crazy.
That's nuts.
Longtime
Oh,
Earthbound
shit!
fans will remember that when the game originally released on the Super NES,
Yeah, where's the
it
scratch
came
and sniff? Does
with
that
this
come with
very
it?
extensive player's guide that was full of
Dude, when they
detail and
released the
strategy
Earthbound
information
movie and I
to
see it
help
in
you through the game.
4DX,
We're
and
making
Starman
this
physically
manual
throws me
available
himself.
for everyone to view online on the Earthbound website, and have
That's
even
cool.
optimized.
Oh, they made it free to
for
view.
viewing
That's
They don't
awesome.
do
on
this
the gamepad
anymore.
to make it a
But they
handy
did it with the
reference
Wii U games.
material
I know
should
because
you
they
need
did it
help
with Star
uploading the
Tropics,
game.
because you need
Unfortunately,
the
we
manual
haven't
for
figured
Star
out how to
Tropics
make
to find a
scratch and
secret
sniff
code in
technology
that
work
game.
on the internet just yet, though.
Oh, yes, that was the big thing when
You
it
can
released
download
on
Earthbound to your Wii
Yeah,
U
and they did it with
Today.
the ROMs
Switch
on Wii
Online.
and Wii U. Like, you can have access to the
$9.99.
manual, but you don't have that on NSO.
Wasn't this also
Thank
a
you
point
very
of
much
contention
for
because
watching this
SNES
Nintendo
games were like
Direct Mini.
$7?
Maybe.
And they
But this is
released
like
this
a
for
big
10?
deal because of the cult following of it all. I mean,
True.
that was Another direct mini, that was nuts. I guess next week, hopefully if we can get it in fact next week, we will cover Luigi's moveset and whatever happens in the previous weekend. I'll be back to a normal schedule. We are over the hump of the 1,000. Here's to another 1,000 streams. Do we have anything left to cover before I hunker back down into the editing bay, lock myself in my room, and stay up all night until this video is done? Or have we covered everything?
I think we covered everything.
We covered everything. It's a pretty accomplished stream. Of course, always lovely to do it with you, Dan. We really brought this one home.
Yeah, for sure.
This has been this is Switch 2 Ultra 59. I have been your co-parent, BHultra.
I've been your temporary co-parent / Funkle Dan.
The Buzz who stepped up. Da Buzz. And I'm going to hopefully finish this video. And I guess everyone will see me tomorrow for Tomodachi, and maybe on Thursday. Probably not on Thursday. I really got to get this done. I'm hanging up now. That's all I needed for that. Play my Sunshine song.